session to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Barger? Here. Master Tudor?
Here.
Master Buckin?
Here.
Judge Taylor?
Here. Obviously, the first discussion is the proposed budget for 2017-18. I appreciate everybody being here. These budgets, seems like each year they get a little tougher and a little tougher. Obviously, a lot of our expenditures are increasing, especially with this drug epidemic. I've got concerns for upcoming years, and so I thought it would be good for all of us to be able to sit down, actually go through the budget, ask questions, brainstorm, discuss, maybe your ideas if you have any, and really just discuss about it for a projection in upcoming years and obviously this budget year. So, Glenda, do you have anything you want to start off with?
I got the budgets out Friday afternoon. I think it's a good budget after going through and making some cuts from what we originally had done. We have a reserve for transfer of $2,672,000. That's about $730,000 over our reserve, over our investments. So it gives us a kind of a cushion there. We did cut back on our line items quite a bit on some that we don't normally use. But I think it's a good budget. We got all the salaries figured in here. Everything should be figured in here except I have one revenue line to add that is for the family court building over there, the basement, the rent that we will receive once we get the purchase completed over there will be $26,719 from Baptist Health. I will put that in there before the first reading.
How much of last year's reserve did we actually use?
As
Do we have any left over?
hold on just a second. As of last court, yes, we have plenty.
Not plenty, but maybe a little bit.
Yes. As of last court, we started out with $2,672,053. We have used $414,000 out of it. We have $2,257,870 left, and that is of that $1,933,000 is in investments. So the other part's in cash.
That 2.6, does that include the LGA?
No, this is just general fund.
It's just general fund, okay.
But the 1.9 million's in Edward Jones
Investments.
investments,
Yes.
right? So that's something we don't want to touch unless we have to.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's reserved, but we're trying to stay away from
Yes.
having to dig into that.
So basically of the, it's about 700-something thousand we had this past year, we used 414 of it.
Glenn,
Above our investment.
looking through it, I didn't see where we're gonna pay the note on the family court building over here. Is it
Yes.
listed in?
Yes, it is. It is on page, sorry, let me flip through here. It is on page 11. Halfway down, it says 2017 series bonds principal, 400,000, and 2017 bond interest, 165,000.
Is that under general fund? or-
Yes, that is under general fund on
Look
page
at your
11.
page 11.
Okay.
Page 11 of 12, yeah.
Where's the page numbers?
Should be in the bottom right corner.
Oh, you on this instead of this one?
Yeah.
And what number, Glenn?
It's 2017.
It is the
bonds.
01-70-100, 601, 2017
601,
series bonds.
605.
Okay.
So we took out the line item where we were paying rent to Downtown Holdings and
I
put in the
noticed
line
that.
items for the bonds.
Okay.
And one of the things that, concerns me a little bit is that in the past, we were able to keep that reserve there, and we had some cushions in other line items in case we did want to purchase, like, for instance, a good example is purchasing new property. Typically we put $125,000 in that line item every year in case there is something that comes up. You don't necessarily have any intentions of purchasing new property, but if something does come up, it gives you that little cushion, that little flexibility. And, that's gone. Our first year's budget, we're trying to be proactive about permanent expenditures. For instance, like in our fire department, we were setting back $30,000 a year to go towards purchasing a new fire engine in 15 years. 20 years at I guess at the max, I think is not typical lifespan. So the first year we put 30 in. Last year we were so tight on our budget, we left it at 30, didn't put another 30, which would have made it 60. This year we've made it to zero. We've left it at zero. You know, we had to cut. When we typically go through the budget time with our department heads, we have a spreadsheet. We go line item by line item. We look at our expenditures for that year. We make changes, adjustments. We ask what they want, what they don't want. Then Glenna goes back and actually puts all those figures in without really tallying anything up. And we had to come back. I think we cut about $718,000 out of the budget between the road fund and the general fund.
So where does it show our payment on the new fire truck we're purchasing?
We do not
We
have
don't
that in
have
there
that.
yet, cause that will, excuse me, will be bonded. So when we actually do that, cause we're not sure exactly when that's gonna be, we'll budget amend in a revenue line item for the bond money coming in and an expenditure line item, so it'll be a wash.
So until that truck is built, we don't have to worry about the
It won't,
bond?
it
We
won't
don't-
add anything to it
No,
by the bond, 'cause the money coming in and going out be the same.
it just flows in and out.
Yep.
And our first payment, most likely is not gonna be till the next fiscal year.
The 93,000 increase on AOC,
Yes.
is that this or what?
The AOC, revenue line item is for all things that AOC pays, which is the family court, this courthouse here, CDW over at the annex, the driver's license at the annex, adult drug court, I forget when.
There's one downstairs that's going away.
It's like, yeah, it's like probation or something, but that's including all of it. The increase, the $93,000 increase is because they have agreed to reimburse us utilities on that, which they weren't before. We were getting just a flat rate price of $26.77, and now they're going to reimburse us the utilities.
Well, I knew it was coming from somewhere, but I didn't know exactly where, because
Yeah.
that's a good increase, almost.
Yeah, that will help us tremendously on.
Their square footage price is roughly 19,000 square feet. They're paying $26.77, which somewhere around 508,000. And we negotiated with them saying, you know, how much money we were losing, and they agreed to reimburse us back for utilities and a lot of those expenses, which is about what that is.
Okay, let's go, I don't wanna get in front of anybody, but that's another question. What is the 20,000 on the animal control?
That is something we're just starting this year, and actually, I believe, Deputy Cheney is sending out a letter. There's an ordinance between us and agreement between us and the two cities
I knew there was,
on the animal
but we've
shelter.
never built them, have we?
No, cause we didn't even know it existed.
I did,
I wish you spoke up.
Yeah, I was never,
I sprayed too.
I was never informed it existed, so in that, when I figured up, we really didn't know how much it was gonna cost, so I figured up this past year's cost, and it was increased by 20,000.
Oh, that'd pay
Over
for-
what we had
I mean,
budgeted last year.
That'd pay for one position.
Have you had feedback from the cities that they are gonna, support
The
that?
city of Richmond brought the ordinance to our attention, so,
Yeah, I think the way the ordinance reads, and it was from like the late 70s, early 80s,
correct.
that the county covers 60% of the budget, the Richmond City covered 25% of the budget, and Berea covered 10% of the budget.
Operating.
Yeah, operating budget, yeah.
I believe it's 82.
The year
Oh,
that-
yeah,
Yeah, 82.
That sounds right.
I thought you were
You're
saying
the
about,
only one that here later.
Well, I was here.
I thought you were saying that Berea was gonna pay 82%.
No, you better be lucky if you get anything.
But the one of the things, just being candid, one of the things, I had a discussion with Randy Stone the other day, and I want to say that maybe after that ordinance, somewhere along the way, there was an agreement where Berea would pay $7,500.
Yes.
So what we've got to figure out, you know, obviously which one of, is it the ordinance or was it just the verbal agreement? So, but Colleen, did we not send out letters? Did we send out a letter to them last year?
No,
We did not, okay.
it's this year.
It's this year, okay.
Where was this rent coming from on the Kentucky Board of Realtors? Where was it?
Third
That's the
floor.
appraiser's board that's on the third floor.
So that's kind of,
Yeah, they're consolidating. You have real estate board, the state level. You have real estate, appraisers, auctioneers, and is it insurance? I think there's 4 boards, and they're consolidating all them to Frankfurt. So one of them's in Louisville, one was in E-Town. And one of them, I think, might have been in Frankfurt, and one was here.
Is there a possibility of renting that space to somebody else so we can have income there?
There's a possibility, yeah.
there's several square foot.
Yep. So I don't know what's the best, really, obviously, this is my first, budget work session. Have you ever had one before? Have y'all ever had one before?
Yeah, we're not in the open.
Oh, not in the open, yeah. I don't know if we wanna go down through them, I don't know if we,
Let's start at the top and go down through instead of bouncing around all of them.
okay. So, does anybody have any questions on the revenue side? Or do we wanna just talk about the expenditures? And we're gonna start with general fund revenues. See if anybody's got any questions.
What page you on, Judge?
The very first page.
The first 3 pages are revenues.
Yep.
First 2.5 pages are revenue. Does anybody have any questions about any of the general fund revenues? And basically, the biggest difference is we're transferring $459,528 more to, between the road and the jail fund than we did last year.
So we're losing the Kentucky Real Estate Board 44,000, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yep.
They'll be, as of July 1st, they'll be out.
On the automobile insurance, sheriff's department, that was in his budget though, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but he pays us back.
Yeah.
It's really kinda just a wash.
It's a washout.
Yes, it's just to
Okay.
keep the books clean.
Gotcha.
Yeah, cause whenever we came into office, you know, we were given, like the sheriff's office, a considerable amount of money. But then, kinda on the back end, we were paying for insurances and there was a lot of other expenditures. And so I wanted to reflect what truly total cost it was costing the fiscal court. And so we had him add some line items in his budget. I think, I can't remember every line item we had him add in his budget, but that was one of them.
Also, the health self-insurance reimbursement, you'll see it's $1,654,696. That was just $161,000 last year. That's where we're moving from an HRA to a completely self-funded insurance plan. So that, it's a wash. If you look on the expenditure side, there's the exact amount going out. We just have to account for that money coming through.
Yeah.
Is there a sheet that shows the variance from last year to this year on the
Yes.
revenue?
If you go,
The-
It's down deeper in here.
Yes,
It's
it's
just
in the
right behind
very end
the
of
general
the,
fund.
it's at the end of the general fund. It'll have the revenues and then it'll have
Keep going.
expenditures. It's probably about 13 pages
kinda
back.
looks more just like a spreadsheet.
I saw it on the Dropbox, but
There it is. Next page.
this here, and this is the
Mhm.
difference.
Just don't show it.
Mhm.
It's on the other. It's on,
What is
on
it?
back, on
Oh,
back.
okay.
It's the page after 1212.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I read. And then the pages don't number after that.
These
don't
won't,
know.
this is just a
The worksheet
spreadsheet.
I created, the budget comes automatically out of the computer, but the worksheet I created in Excel just
Mhm.
to compare last year's to this year's.
So these first 3 pages are your revenues.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the election expense, we could budget 9,000 rather than 18 because we don't have a major election coming up this
We
year.
only have one.
And I believe the General Assembly passed the law with regards to allowing
You know when that goes into effect, Colleen?
I
It was an
believe
emergency
July 1.
ordinance in effect now.
Okay.
Upon goes their signature.
So if you have
So we
a
budgeted
valid
just for
petition
one
to
of
do
those.
a special election, it will go on the regular.
Any local options must be on a primary or general or paid for by the party that's conducting the election. And they have to notify us first, so we'll know ahead of time. But before they circulate the petition, they have to notify the clerk and the circuit clerk.
So I think in the last couple of years, we've had 2 a year, 2
Yep.
a fiscal year in addition, so that'll help.
Oh, yeah.
What will one of those cost us, Kenny, one special
They're about 5,000 a precinct.
precinct?
Yeah, the ones that Berea was doing, I think when we figured it up, it cost us like $25,000,
Yeah.
Yep.
the county.
And
For
they're
those
running-
3, I think there was 3, wasn't there? There was the restaurant, and then they had the historic precinct, and then
Then they did another store.
then they did another, yeah. Yeah, and that didn't include, the country club.
No.
Yep.
Do you all wanna go line item by line item down through the expenditures?
Mhm. I
Okay,
think
we can start out, county judge's salary is set, by the state, and then we have the office staff, which includes Bernadette and Colleen. The judge training incentive, that's also set by DLG, it should be $4,052 if you've had your, all 4 years of your incentive. We took out judge's office fuel, cause judge never asked for it, and he wanted to take that out. We have office supplies and printed materials, reimbursements, training and travel went down. We took 2,500 out of that. Office equipment and furniture, we took out vehicle repairs, cause he doesn't have a vehicle right now. Office
Well, we
equipment-
left 500 in there for that, in case.
Oh, that's
that
right,
we got
500,
one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Office equipment and furniture, we took out. County attorney's salary is set by the state, and he actually gets his raise along with the judges and the jailers at the January 1st. I have to, and the reason it looks like it jumps up more than the 2.1 is I have to estimate what, they get their raise in January, so I kinda have to estimate what I think they might get. Well, last year I estimated, the year before they got 0.07, so I estimated like 1%, well, it ended up being 2.1%, so it jumped it up a little bit more than what I'd estimated. The alternative sentencing program is the program that's run through the county attorney's office, and they bill us each month for that.
Was that, my understanding on that when we started, that was gonna be a temporary program, and based on what the results were from the first year, we would decide whether or not we were gonna continue that. Is that correct?
Mhm.
How many, inmates, Doug, are they working through that program, do you know?
It wouldn't be inmates.
No.
This was a,
This is
determine whether or not they would.
courts.
Yeah, it's through the court system.
Converted system. We probably need a report on that
We
one.
need a little more information on that, because it was unclear how many would be out, and it's unclear what it's gonna cost. I think maybe we should get the county attorney to give us an update on it at the next court meeting or whenever. Just, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good program,
Just needs to justify it, see.
and just, we need to justify it. I mean, when you're asked that, you need to be able to have an answer. I don't have one. But Tom, you're correct, when we started, that's what we said we would do.
So if you all wanna have him come to the next court meeting, I mean, we can change this all the way up to the second reading, we can take that out if we need to. The next one is the county attorney secretary. This is a part-time secretary that they send us a bill for. We do not pay that through payroll, but we pay for a part-time secretary on secretary to court, that is mandated, that's paid to, Darlene. Fees.
No, that's
paid-
paid to, I think that's paid to Kenny.
Oh, I'm sorry.
County clerk.
You're right, there's another one that's paid to Darlene.
Yeah.
Fees paid certified deeds to PBA, $500. Delinquent tax advertising, we stayed the same. Auto boat tax bill preparation, we were right on target, we stayed the same. Sheriff support came down $223,590.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sheriff support, we take directly from their budget. When you all pass their budget in January, I take that budget, what we have
We
budgeted
approve.
to give them, and I put that in our next year's budget.
Okay.
And then once, and we're getting ready to pay them for last year, for how they finished last calendar year. What we do is we take, exactly how they finish on the calendar year, and we pay up to that amount, so
Now,
if,
their calendar year is January to January?
yes.
Okay.
So whenever
Well, I
they,
see the difference
we haven't
there.
calculated it up yet, but it'll be coming probably through this next quarter or the next one. And that 1.4 million that we had budgeted for last year, we haven't paid that out yet. We will be paying that out, up
Okay.
to that amount. Now, we're only gonna bring them back to zero. Where they run in the red with the state, we balance it out, reconcile it, and bring them back to zero for that year.
Okay.
So the two, new cars that the sheriff's department requested, are they in that budget? We can't pay for them this year.
Well, there's a reimbursement on here from, on cars, lease payment.
That's the.
That's him reimbursing back to
Oh,
us for the
yeah,
old
that's
payments where we
the-
paid that
But
note
that's
off.
not the new one.
No, that's other vehicles that they're still paying
No,
off.
he just requested 2 new vehicles above and beyond. And I met with him the other day, told him we just don't have it, we can't do it. And so I told him, I said, for right now, if you need to get those other 2 cars fixed, you know, just go ahead and have the road department fix them.
I know we talked about it, but didn't know the final decision on that.
Well, this budget made my final decision.
The lease
Yeah.
payment was rolled from vehicles that was refinanced into another.
Yeah, it's the
No,
ones we
back
did out there in the
past.
parking lot with it.
We went ahead and paid them off early to
Save
save
interest.
money, but we let them go ahead and finish out the way that they were gonna pay them back.
Yeah, that was something that was prior administration, had worked out or something.
Okay, and so that one comes straight out of the sheriff's budget. The property tax bill preparation, we raised up $500, just, that's what we needed to be able to pay it. Sheriff's office postage, we brought down a little bit, the postage was a little bit less on getting it out. Tommy does a really good job of trying to, pull out when you've got one owner owns lots of properties where it would normally send out a bill to, 50 bills to one person.
Combine them,
He
yeah.
pulls all those out and combines them and tries to save us money on that.
That's disheartening when they do that.
Yes, the county coroner salary is just the CPI, which was 2.1% this year. The deputy coroners, that is set, and they do not get a raise, they're part-time. But we raised their classification last year. He actually only has 3 part-time deputy coroners right now, but he's qualified for 4. So this budget amount has 4 in there in case he needs to hire the other one.
And they're part of our classification schedule,
Yes.
as far as their certifications and what the coroner, or what the deputies get.
The coroner expense allowance is the $300 a month. Autopsy and attendant services, this stayed the same, and this is what we pay out, to the rescue squad that helps Jimmy get the bodies back and forth to
Yeah, they
Frankfort.
transport,
And
yeah.
there's been a lot more in the last year because of the new laws that require them to have an autopsy in order to prosecute for drug. The coroner fuel stayed the same, office supplies stayed the same, supplies stayed the same, and that's where he buys all the body bags, things like that. Coroner training stayed the same. Vehicle repairs, we added 1,000.
500.
We had
Oh,
500.
he went to 1,000, added
Yeah.
500. I think that was maybe some tires that he was needing, estimated. Corner equipment, we lowered to 2,500 from 4,200. Corner other equipment, this is donated funds. They have $118 left of donated funds, and we just rolled that over into the new year. Magistrate salaries are, the CPI of 2.1%.
The reason why it don't break down what each magistrate
Individual.
gets paid.
Well, we have it on the other sheet, but not this one. And-
Yeah, it's exactly the same, nobody gets paid any different.
Well, I
But if
understand.
somebody looks at it, they're gonna.
Somebody
think-
looking at it, are we making that a piece? They don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, you would think they would understand
you'd
because
hope they would.
I can put in an 01, 02, 03, 04 under the 210.
I'd be tickled
I
to
think it'd
death
look
if you
better.
did,
Okay, I can do that.
if it's not no big problem.
I don't think
She
the
needs-
But if you wanna
Not
keep
all
that
three or-
same price there on 1, 2, 3, and 4, that'd be okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do
until
that
you're
balanced
running,
budget.
I know.
The expense allowance is the $3,600, per magistrate. The magistrate's training incentive, that is, everyone should be at their 4th level this next year. So it should be $4,052 each. So that went up a little bit because there's some of you all just getting to the 4th level. The advertising legal notices, we took down 2,000. The grant consulting contract went up 10,000. That is Cheryl Cross, and we had renegotiated her contract last year, and she's actually making that right now. We just needed to reflect it in the budget. The Healing Center Professional Services, we had in at 0 last year. We put in 20,000. The Legislative Research Consulting is a new line item at 10,000. And, Reagan, would you like to explain? Does everybody know what that is?
Why did that come on board?
To give us an opportunity to have somebody that is researching during the legislature.
That's not a lobby fee, is it?
No,
Okay.
no, it's somebody doing research for us, and it's not just for the judge's office or for the magistrates. It's for, the jails, the sheriffs, the county clerks. Kenny obviously hired Stephanie, and we wanted to really use Stephanie as that research person to help us be an advocate, to be for something at the state level or against it, and to really be that research body for us. I don't have time to sit there and read every single piece of or material that comes across during the legislative session.
Tom, will?
I do try to read them, Larry.
I know you do.
The one thing that I do, and when I send letters up there to the legislators about this, I don't per se pick out just things that are associated with us at the county level. If it's a good bill, it's a good bill, regardless of whether it's directly tied to us.
Here
So
or there.
I send it to all of them, regardless. But this is more directed at, I think, at the county.
Madison County only, is that what?
Yeah.
County level.
And it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity for us to have that body doing it, to see if it's really something that benefits us. I mean,
We'll know after 1 year. won't we?
Because when you get down toward the end of them, they start packing on 200 and 300 of them long toward them. I mean, it's tough to get through all of them.
yeah, yeah.
Keep it
Well, it
up.
also gives you, it's somebody that can watch, and when one bill dies over here, well, they create an amendment and stick it on another bill, and you don't even know it's still moving.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's where you really need somebody helping, and this gives the judge's office and me an opportunity to have a really good employee and share the cost versus having to pay
One pay all.
one, or have two and pay even more than what we're
Yeah.
paying. I think it's really gonna work out.
Yeah.
I was really pleased to have Steph actually starts tomorrow.
It's so
Full
confusing,
time.
when they tack amendments onto other bills. I think every bill should stand on its own, so you know what you're supporting rather than,
That'd be way too easy and uncomplicated, John.
well.
Everybody knows what's going on.
That's what I am, uncomplicated.
Nice from John.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, contracted engineering services, we took down 3,000. That's just a line item that we've always had in there in case we had any engineering services in need. We didn't use it last year, so we took a little bit out of it. Lease payments, this is for the Kirksville, community center out there, the lease we have with them, and also with Mike Rice with, the lease we have on the tower out there on Big Hill.
Yeah, Judge Reed negotiated that and got us extra money. Thank you, Judge.
Contracted legal services.
Can I ask you a question about
Yes.
the Clarksville Center?
Mhm.
Go ahead, John, just go ahead and talk to him, I'll keep Gillen busy over here.
You know how to turn that thing off?
It's, the Kirksville, both
It
of
might
those
be
two are
somebody
linked
needs
together.
something,
Yes.
So is Kirksville, is their debt paid?
Their lease is written, it doesn't say when their debt's paid, it just is written that we pay them until we stop the lease payments.
Okay.
That would be.
That might be something that we need to look into through the county attorney's office, though.
What was
This
that,
could
Glenn?
go on for years
That's the
and years.
community center out at Kirksville Park, it's for Dr. Tudor, had an agreement with them, that they gave us the parkland behind there to build a park on, and we pay them a certain amount per year.
Do you know what that exact amount is?
20,000,
So is it 20,000?
20,000.
No, I don't believe it's 20,000.
No,
If this
it's
includes,
not.
if
It's,
this includes what we
It's
paid,
about 22,000 something,
You break it down, what we pay a month, it'd be 20,000.
yeah, but that's the mic rights too, not just the
Okay.
community center.
I was going by the
But
line
that's,
item.
I guess that's to
The
help
tires
maintain the
what-
building and stuff out there.
Is the tire around 16?
It was to help them acquire the building to start with, and,
Mike's tire.
to give them a basis
It
of
might be.
income so
What's
that they can
13
get
times
a
12?
loan to, take care of it. They have a, board out
Yeah.
there that oversees the community center. But probably the best thing to do is pull that lease agreement out and let the judge go over it and see if
Okay.
it needs any. But that's what that line item is both those. It's paid quarterly, and I'm thinking it's only about $2,600 a quarter.
okay. Cause I believe Mike, is Mike's 1,300 or 1,400 a month?
Yeah, I think so. 1,300, I think.
I think it's 13, so.
So if you do. Yeah, that's 15,600
Yes.
from the 23,000.
Yeah.
So it's only about 2,000 something a quarter
Quarter.
that we give.
Yeah.
Contracted legal services, we actually took that one out. We have not used that in several years. We've just had it in there in case we had to use someone other than the county attorney for something. But normally, we use Keiko, and it doesn't cost, so we just took that line item out to 0. 911 county support has actually went down from 156,419 to 109,025, down 47,000. Two things happened. We got the loan paid off on the equipment, so we weren't having to pay that anymore, and also just the regular support went down some. So,
Do you feel comfortable with that?
yes, the 911 fund is doing very well right now.
Okay.
We, in another spot in the budget, we have money put back for, long-term projects for 911. So yes, I feel comfortable in taking down the support.
I know that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Mainly it was paying off the equipment. It was 37,000, I think, in equipment, or cost, that we were paying on our loan, and we paid that off. Us, the city of Richmond, and city of Burrito were all paying toward that loan.
Yep.
The community liaison contract stayed the same, and that's with Craig Williams. The supplies for all the magistrates, we took down to $250. Last year was the first year that we separated those out and put them in each line item, so we weren't sure how much to put in there. When we looked back at what was actually spent, we felt like we could lower these down, and you all would still have plenty.
Keep being conservative, guys. Next year we'll maybe make it to 100.
Yeah. Registrations. Registrations and licensing, we left the same at 2, that's any kind of vehicles we register, just gives us a place to charge that too. Special projects was 20,000, we took it down to $10,000 decrease. That is the line item that is for anything the fiscal court decides to do that has not been budgeted for. We have someone come up and present something to you all, and you all decide that you do wanna do it, this is the place we take it from. Training and travel, we took from 3,000 down to 1,500 for each magistrate. That took out 1,500 per magistrate. The PVA statutory contribution, that is set by the state, it stayed the same. Board of Assessment and Appeals, that meets once a year, and we have to pay that out to the board members. We have the county treasurer's salary, the finance office staff, which is Melanie Johnson and Angel. Postage machine lease, stayed the same at 2,500. Shredding service in the finance office stayed the same. Checks, W-2s, forms, deposit slips, we lowered down 500.
Can I ask you a question before
Yes.
we get too far away while I'm thinking about it, just running through my mind? On the, let's see, let me back up just a second. The, finance office staff,
Mm-hmm.
did you use your rating,
On the valuations?
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
yes. All these have went through I didn't select those, I filled out the evaluations.
Yes.
What the actual raise was done by the classification committee.
Okay, and do we have that sheet, that has what the classification breakdowns were as far as for what the score related to and a percentage increase?
We had one, but that's been some time back.
There's one, there's a.
You talking about this, what I,
Yes.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause we just tell everybody what that is. basically.
Just note the CPI is 2.5.
Yeah, I've already changed it, yeah.
So basically, they're.
So if you scored between the left number and the middle number, then you got the 2.1, and then you go down.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was basically a rating of 2.5 to 2.74, and that steps in ranges up to a rating of 4 to 4.24, with cost of living increases from 2.1 up to 3.5, based on how those individuals rate in their performance. Now, this right here, I want to talk about this just for a second, just because this is the first spot we're going to get to talk about it. This right here is an outstanding tool for department heads, for supervisors, because, and here's where it gets tough, is you as an department head, when you sit everybody down, I don't care how many people you got, everybody's not doing the same thing. All right, you've got people that excel, you've got people that's not, but if you rate everybody at a 4, then it's just a matter of time till your rating system's just trashed. So you really have to use this. The other thing that you have to, that this is a good tool, is that it's a good tool for motivator. You know, you've got people that need to pick up the slack a little bit, so you're able to justify that and to tell them why that they, so.
Well, it's out there if
Plus,
you want.
it goes on the other side, that's right. So that's a really good tool for our department heads. Judge.
And that's anywhere I mention salaries in this budget, in the salary line item, they all have went through that process.
Evaluation.
Yes.
But that goes back to where you, supervisors should meet with them every 6 months or maybe every quarterly and go over
Yeah,
the
we do.
evaluation.
And they do.
Yeah, we do little council sessions, coaching sessions every quarter, yeah.
Good.
So the employee knows where they're standing and maybe they can improve their performance, you know, to get a better score on
That's right.
there.
Okay, the checks, W-2s, deposit slips went down $500. Finance office supplies, we cut 1,000 out. Finance office postage, we cut 2,500 out, and some of that is due to Angel going to emailing out and not sending out all the postcards and the forms each time. We put them online now, so that's cut down on our postage side.
Is it working good? Getting any complaints?
You get a few, but for the majority, I think it's working good. It's gonna take a year to get going with it, for everybody to understand.
So if someone requests to get a,
Oh, yes.
paper copy that we can send.
Yes,
to the
they
rep-
can come by the office, we'll print them off one, or if they, email us or call us, we'll email them one. It's online, they can go online and just print one off. And we've also got online a list of account numbers, so if they don't know what their account number is, they can look in the listing and find their account number right on there.
And you reduced your cost by going from letters to postcards
Yes,
as well.
Yeah, it was a huge savings
That
when we
was
did
a huge
that
savings.
mass postcard mailing.
So that's already been reflected.
Printed materials stayed the same. Training and travel, we took 500 out of. Human resource director, went down from 63,750, down to 41,400. The 63,750 was, we had already set that budget, even though, the person was gone by the time we got around to the budget last year. Employment testing, we added 15,000. This was actually called drug testing before, and we had some other kind of types of testing that we needed to put in there. So we decided to just make a testing program instead of a drug testing and a different type of testing. We would just put it all under employment testing. We took it from 10 to 25 just to make sure. We haven't went through a whole year of this to know exactly how much it is gonna cost, so next year we'll be able to gauge it and be more accurate at it.
But
We
this,
wanted to make
this
sure we had
background
plenty.
checks, this is anything costing with
Yes,
somebody coming in.
any
there,
kind of
yeah.
testing that we needed to have done on an employee.
Yeah.
Human resources office supplies, we took up 250 to 750. Human resources training and travel, we took, raised it from 2,000 to 2,500. Employee trainings went from, stayed at 1,500. Occupational tax refunds, 50,000, stayed at 50,000. This is a line item that we really have no control over. We just have to take a guesstimate at it. Sometimes it'll come in below 50, sometimes we'll end up having to transfer money in there. If a company sends us an estimated payment on a net profit, and then they don't end up
Making a profit.
making a profit and they wanna ask for a refund, they are allowed to do that. So we never know how much in refunds we're gonna have to do that.
Well, you don't lose no money
No.
because
They're paying
they
it.
send you in
Yes.
advance. So
Yes.
you really don't lose it.
No, you don't lose money, it's just hard to guess how many of them we're gonna have in a year. So we normally keep 50,000 in there, and that's what we left it at. Fees to the circuit, clerk, this is what goes to Darlene, and it's for the law library, and it's mandated by KRS, $1,200 a year. Election board commissioners, we took this from 26 up to 44 based on last year's numbers. I think they might have met more, we've had more meetings, that sort of thing, just to make sure we got it covered. Election officers went from 32,000 up to 36,000. Election advertising stayed the same at 4,000. Election equipment balance and maintenance, we took from 45,000 up to 65,000. And I'm not really sure why it's costing more. It cost us more last year, so even though we only had 45,000 in there, we had to spend more than that.
Maybe we have more elections.
Well, we had more elections, but it was presidential.
Yes,
And this will be the only one, this budget will be the primary for
Yes.
the countywide primary, which should be cheaper, less balance.
the election office expenses, went from 11,500 up to 17,000. And, the janitorial personnel, and that's all of our janitors for all of our buildings, had the percent raises, which are in the back. Custodial overtime, we left at 500. Dumpster service, we left the same for the courthouse. Custodial supplies, we actually took 3,000 down. Uniforms.
I wanna make a comment there too, guys. These are some areas, some of these I'll probably point out throughout this list, but, our first budget, which meant 15, 16, that line item there was $16,000
For the supplies.
for the supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why, I don't know, but we're running a lot more efficient.
Let's say $6,000 for three this year.
Yeah, so I mean, you're taking it down, about 11, 16, 6, 8, 9,000 bucks.
$9,000. In 2
Alright.
years.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Okay. Courthouse decor, we took $500 out of, and that's basically,
Decoration.
seasonal at the Christmas and stuff, any kind of supplies we need to buy. Courthouse repairs, we left at 40,000. Travel reimbursement, we just left at 100. Courthouse water sewer, we took 2,500 out of. Courthouse
Oh.
electric,
Sorry, Glenn, I wanna go back, on that 40,000 for courthouse repairs, the reason I left that in there is because we really gotta do something with those columns in the front of the courthouse, and we gotta be thinking about painting, so.
Didn't I see where there's
well,
a
we've also got a line item.
line item for
Oh, we do?
columns later?
We had a line item.
Oh, this is for.
This is just your everyday
This
repairs.
is for heating and air and all that, it's not
Yes.
for the, yeah, we have.
Yes, this is just your
yeah,
basic
okay, I'm sorry,
repairs.
I'm sorry.
The water sewer, we took down 2,500, electric stayed the same at 42,000. Gas stayed the same. Custodial equipment, we left 1,000 in there in case we needed to buy something. Family court base rent went to 0, that was what we paid to Downtown Holdings. Courthouse custodial supplies, family court custodial supplies, I'm sorry, went down 1,000. Family court annual building insurance went to 0. Because we won't be paying, we'll be paying our own insurance now when we own it. Family court repairs stayed at 4,500. Family court telephone stayed at 4,800. Family court water sewer, we took it to 1,500. Electric stayed the same at 48,000. Finance custodial supplies, we took 500 out of and lowered down. The planning office custodial supplies lowered by 500. Parks lowered by 100. The road department's the north lowered by 500, the south lowered by 150 on all on custodial supplies. Finance repairs, which is the finance building over there, we left at 7,000. Water and sewer, we left at 650. The electric, we raised up $1,500 to 16,500. Natural gas stayed the same at 2,000. We added a line item called courthouse annex stone cleaning for over there at the courthouse annex where the stone is turning black. We added it for 8,300.
So there's no contract on that? Do we have a bid on that? That's what I'm
We
asking.
do, yeah, we do
Yeah,
have
we
a
got
bid,
one.
we do have a bid on it. Whenever we originally got the bid, it was, right at $20,000 for the whole building. And of course, it was more than what I was willing to spend at this time. And the biggest expense of that was on the back side of it where you had the scaffold. They were gonna have to rent scaffold to get up there because they can't reach it. So I had them go back and say, well, how much would it be to do the Second Street side plus the Urban Street side? And as much as they could reach kind of the jail side, off of a lift, whether that's a Sky Track or whatever they used. And when he went back and priced that, it was 8,300 to do those parts.
When's he gonna start on that, Jeff, you know?
It won't be till after the first of the year, yeah.
Okay, and we have.
And that's also includes sealing it. I mean, so that's gonna be cleaning all that black mold and stuff off of it and then actually putting a sealer on top of that to where it won't do it anymore.
The annex custodial supplies, we took 1,500 out of. The courthouse annex repairs, we lowered from 23,000 down to 20,000. Courthouse annex water sewer stayed the same. Annex electric, we actually added 7,000 from 67 to 74,000. And the IT staff, you have their salaries listed in the back. The telecommunication consultants, we took out, took it down to 0, and that was, do you remember what that name of that group is? Walsky, the group that said, come in here a few years ago, they looked at all of our telephones and stuff like that, and they saved us money. They went through the telephone bills and whatever they would save us, Chris knows, what's the name of the consulting company? Schooley Mitchell. And we had a contract with them for like 3 years, and they did save us money. They would get, whatever they saved us, they would get half of it, we would get half of it. So that contract is over, so we took that line item completely out. The rest of this down through here, system software, do you wanna go over this, Chris? 'Cause I really don't know. If there's questions about it. I'll take, you can look at my copy.
Let me ask this, do you all wanna go through all the IT stuff? Do you want him to explain it?
I'd like to listen to you.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll just give you a real high.
Okay.
Just, you won't get,
All right, go ahead.
Too technical on us.
yeah, we won't get in the weeds there. Hey, Ryan, you might want to turn this microphone on.
Come down to our level when you tell us.
Service.
All right, so I'll give you a little bit of picture of what it looked like last year and kind of what it looks like this year. Office supplies, we cut pretty good. It was $1,700 last year. It's down to $975 this year. Just the things you think, plotter paper, ink, those kinds of things. That's not copiers, but that's the big format printer that we use. Miscellaneous tools or anything like that. Training and education was another one that we cut pretty good. It was at $16,000 last year. We moved that down to $9,000 this year. The reason for that is we decided not to travel this year to a training. We're gonna do an online training and see how that goes, just to try to help save a little bit of money there. So you can see those are broke down. Vehicle maintenance is about the same. Sorry, I got an email. IT fuel, we've dropped it down just a little bit based on what we were using. We took a look at the bills and kind of calculated what we thought it would be. I think it actually could be a little less, but where we're putting this fiber, we're doing a lot of driving back and forth to the EOC and monitoring those guys, so we didn't drop it as much as I wanted to, but we had to keep that in mind. The access channel, last year had $1,000, we dropped that down to $250. We plan to do nothing to that channel. The equipment this year, there's no upgrades or anything that we need to do, so we dropped that down pretty good. The pictometry expenses, oh, I skipped one there. IT department software maintenance. That was $7,500 last year. That one is the biggest increase to $51,000, and what that is the allotment for some money for GIS software. We have had a very strong program in GIS for a very long time. A lot of you are aware of that. But we did not invest any money in that program per se in the software. So what we are stuck with at this point is software licenses that are work group level. So it's kind of small business. We're doing a small set of things for a small set of people. We have expanded that here recently with bringing Megan on board to doing online maps, and we've got storybooks and all kinds of things we can do. We're playing a bigger part of CSEP now than we ever have before. We're building damage assessment applications where they can take tablets out into the field and do their assessments, and that form feeds automatically into the FEMA reports. We're going to do some work with the road department this year to hopefully get away from writing all that work logs down into those books that she does. Your foreman will be able to fill those out on tablets. All that information will be available on a map. Reagan can sit in his office with the map pulled up, click that road, and tell you the last time they did something to it, what they did, and what the cost was. So that $50,000 is in there to buy what is called an enterprise license agreement. That basically gives us everything that Esri makes, for the most part, gives us the ability to use it and gets us in the enterprise level. Right now in the work group level, we're stuck to 2 servers, and it's just not enough horsepower to run it. So when we looked at it, we can go in and buy onesie twosie, every little piece and part that we need to do what we want, but it was $47,000. At that point, you might as well spend $50 and get access to everything. So that's why you see that increase, and that's really the one thing that the IT department is going to do this year. My line items don't have any money for new equipment or anything like that. It's basically a maintenance year for us to get into that new building at the EOC and to get everything moved over and refreshed and working like it's supposed to. We've been having a lot of issues with capacity, so we're looking forward to getting over there.
So you have a $34,000 reduction in software maintenance. What was that?
Let's see what that was last year.
It was 81,499, like, it was system software maintenance.
Yeah, I hope I didn't delete it.
You look like-
Well, no, it's in here, but I hope I didn't delete the item that was showing that amount of money. I think I did delete that out of there. I can't tell you exactly why we dropped that out of there, but those costs that are in there are specifically the things that we have to run this year. Software maintenance, spam filter renewals, our VMware licenses, those kinds of things. Oh, I remember what that was. That was email. That was the cost to give every employee an email. It wasn't $34,000, but that was the bulk of that, to buy user cows for servers. So that's why you don't see those. Those are one-time purchases that we won't have to make this year. The big number inside of that one is an $18,000 VMware maintenance. That's actually a cost share with CSEP, so it's going to save us a little bit of money. Since we're kind of migrating into one system, we can buy a license and we're going to two-way split basically. So what you see there is an $18,000 cost, but if you look into our revenues, you'll see where they're bringing half of that money back into us. Kind of like everybody else, you see the expense and you'll see the income. The pictometry stuff is self-explanatory. It was 0 last year. This year we broke it down to show you exactly those costs. It's $59,000. That means the fiscal court's cost is $11,000, and then the other cost of that is $47,000. That's what we bring back in revenue from all of the other agencies that participate in that program. Just a heads up, we did get that new imagery in. It's coming available online as they plop it in, so you'll start to see that new photography as it comes available, and it looks really good. Everybody's very pleased with that, so that was a good expense. System hardware maintenance purchases, I think I skipped one. IT hardware maintenance and
Yours
purchases.
is in a different.
Yeah, it's all in a different order. That was $1,400. We took it down to 0. We have some pretty sophisticated GPS service locating handhelds. We don't do much of that stuff anymore. We just had money in the budget to maintain them if they broke, but we don't use them, so there's no reason to keep that money in there.
Well, those things that the planning and zoning would use when
They
they
used
go
to
out.
use, now we can do the same accuracy on our cell phones.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. We've talked about reaching out to Kirksville and Madison County Utilities to see if they want to buy those from us. Those things are, anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000 a piece, so
Yeah.
it could help them and we can maybe generate a little revenue. We had system hardware maintenance this year had $56,000. It went down to $500 this year. What that was a switch bid that failed. We had the money in the budget this year to buy new switches. When the bid failed, we didn't buy those, but we will be buying switches here shortly as soon as we get our fiber in the ground. But we'll be spending that money out of there. But that's why you see a big reduction there. Storage maintenance, we had $20,000. We bought a brand new storage device, network attached storage for our system. So we're not purchasing anything this year, so that dropped to 0. Switching maintenance had another $80,000 in there. I think I spoke wrong. The one before was the fiber we were going to put in. Switching maintenance was 80, it's down to 0. What other line items are in there, Tony?
Is that because of replacement or
Yeah.
a contract gone away?
Those are replacement equipment, and that's the 80,000 I speak about that we're gonna spend right now at the end of the budget. That was the failed bid. We are running on switches that are 24 port switches. Every port is full on every switch, and what, on the back end of those switches, what's called the fiber connect, and that's where all that main traffic passes through that big portion of the switch, and they're all full. They're all just jam-packed, and that's why we have so many issues. We wanted to address that, but with all the things going on, we kind of had to sit still and just wait. But we were going to spend some of that money here at the very end of the budget to get us so we can feel a little more comfortable, be a little more reliable. We got to wait what the fiber is going to look like, what the EOC is going to look like, because there is some money in the fiber project to buy some switching for us, but they're out here hitting rock, and every time they hit rock, it costs me dollars. So they're out here jackhammering up 2nd Street. That's just dollar bills in my mind. Okay. So hopefully that doesn't.
Back in the copier maintenance, there's two, the judge's office and the planning where we put
I didn't get to
62.
those,
Yeah.
I think they're down. Oh, yeah, they're down. They're one more. Router maintenance. That did go up a little bit, and that's to accommodate when we go to CSEP, to have a redundant router at CSEP, since all of our functions will be coming out of CSEP, out of the EOC building instead of down here. So we're gonna add in a little bit of redundancy, but that was just a $2,000 increase. Another big one there is the internet expenses. That's the countywide. We left it the same. Those are pretty strong. We pay about $11,000 a year in internet. We pay about $4,000 in internet at the quad. That's the fire department 2, the road department 2, the visitor center, Safety City. We pay $800 a year at Battlefield Golf Course. We pay for the coroner and the fire department to have internet at the EOC. That costs us about $3,500 a year. And then we pay $2,800 a year for fax and internet at the animal shelter. So now, once we get to the EOC, we're going to combine services. Right now, they have a 30 meg connection, we have a 20. We're gonna be able to go to a 200 meg connection at the EOC to service all of our employees, and we're actually gonna save money, to the tune of probably $1,000 a month between the two of us. So that's a pretty good savings. That's why we're doing what we're doing, is to get out there and see those efficiencies of sharing these costs instead of everybody having their own little thing. Wireline expenses, that's our PRI. That's $29,000. Most of that, like 90% of that is collected back from all these agencies that use our telephone service. The court, whenever that was like 2007, something like that, when we went in and put that phone system in and we started charging those people basically 50% of what they were paying AT&T, they paid to us, is what it worked out to be. And the court went from spending $30,000 a year to spending about $2,000 a year in phone service. So we really have done quite well with that piece of that. Down through those, we have a bunch of the departments that are listed. I hate to just stand here and yak at them, but it's mostly copier maintenance. Those show us $6,800 in the judge's department, and that's a $6,800 for a copier. That money is in there in case the one that's here blows up. We don't plan to spend it if we don't have to. Animal shelter, you'll see all the copier maintenance. That was another program that worked really well for us. Putting everybody on the same copier contract has saved us quite a bit of money. We were spending almost $400 a month in copier expenses. We're down to about 200 something. We get better service and better equipment, so that's another win for us when it comes to saving money. The golf course is the same way. Basically, the money that's in there is their copier expenses. They're about $100 a year. So most of these copier bills that we pay checks out on 54 cents a piece, maybe a couple bucks, except for our big departments like finance. They're about 20 or 30, and the judges $20 or $30 a month. So we have saved quite a bit of money.
Planning and zoning copier too, in case it goes bad.
Yep, and then there's $6,800 in there for planning and zoning as well, in case theirs goes. Those two machines were bought at the same time about 10 years ago. So that they're end of life. We've been told by the provider that they're end of life and the parts are hard to find. They're getting them out of the graveyard. But like Kenny always said, this is when you're getting your money back out of the maintenance and paying those per click charges. Is now they're really having to fix it. For the first 6 years, they didn't really fix much. Now they're really having to pay that money out and fix things. So it's good for us. The fire department has some change in there. It did go up a little bit. Those include things like their accountability software, their mobile CAD in their trucks. It includes their reporting software and those kinds of things. This year last year they got a new copier, so they're going to have some expenses in their copier expenses like everybody else. And there's some money in there for, the biggest part of that is for MDTs and the 2 new fire trucks. So I've had that in there for 2 years now, waiting on those fire trucks. So hopefully it comes through this time for you. Though, just so you know, an MDT into a car costs us about $3,000 a piece. That's about what that cost is. Planning, like we said, has, their only thing really is the copier. There's some money in there for GovMasters, their permit program that they use. The road department has some money for Mitchell On Demand and Napa Tracks. That's where they track all of our services through the cars. And Mitchell On Demand is where you look up parts, right, Scott?
Correct, and service managers.
And service managers. And they've got another big portion that is the PEP wave maintenance for all of the snow tracking GPSs that we have in there. Those cost us $100 a year to keep maintenance. Basically, if they blow up, they send us a brand new one for free. And solid waste, dropped that down to 75. That is because last year they bought the copier, this year is just gonna be maintenance on it. The coroner's office dropped quite a bit. We put new computers in their offices over at the EOC last year. This year, all they have is just the expenses on their copier. And then there also is their Office 365 licenses. And then custodial, just the maintenance on the copier is all they're doing. So this year is really a maintenance year for us. We cut a lot out of the budget because we're gonna maintenance and get into the new facility and get things. So we don't see any big projects coming our way except for GIS.
The only other one is our finance software. We had to up it a little bit because we're trying to get a point of sale system that'll work across the board. Chris and myself and Rachel, Angel and Melanie, we all went and we looked at some other software systems, trying to see if there's anything out there that would cover the vast differences that we have. We have a golf course, we have basically an auto part where they work on autos down there. We've got planning and zoning, we've got an animal shelter. And to try to get something that will combine all that is almost impossible. So we went and looked at one of the most popular ones that some of the cities use. I think the city of Richmond just switched to it. Used to be called Springbrook, now it's Acela. But after sitting down with the city of Berea, who already uses it, going through it and looking at the different aspects of it, we didn't feel like in a lot of areas it was as good as what we've already got. And it did not, it didn't get what we were really wanting to do. And we haven't found one that will do it. So we contacted our current software and asked them if they could help us develop a point of sale system that is very basic that we could use for each one of these outlying sources of income, planning, the animal shelter, that takes in money. So we're in the process of developing that right now, and that's why we added a little more into our finance software.
And that's the $12,000, right? Be careful with the point of sale stuff, and what I mean is, so we're talking about modifying the spin map, is that what we're talking about? All right, so
No.
what is the 37.9 for? Can you
That
just
is
tell me
for
that real
Fiscal
quick?
Soft, that's the current financial software that we have.
Okay,
We have a maintenance cost with it. When we looked into Acela,
what's it called?
it's called Fiscal Soft.
Okay,
And it's actually made for county governments, county and city governments. So anytime we have any updates, if the Kentucky retirement changes rules on us, they stay up on what affects counties and
The
city
portion of that
governments.
cost is the employee, you pay an employee price too, right? And they're a fee per employee.
Well,
for
it,
W-9.
actually, we have 5 different systems from Fiscal Soft. We have a payroll system that we pay a maintenance fee on. We have our accounting system. We have the occupational tax software system. We have another system called Fiscal Express that uploads. It enables us to pull reports out of any of these other systems that it has and put it into a file that can upload to DLG, Kentucky Retirement. It puts it in the specific file that they want it in. And then we have an HR program that comes along with it that is just designed for Kentucky Retirement System. About 5 years ago, Kentucky Retirement went to an electronic, where you had to electronically file. They have 2 options. Either you had to contact your software and they had to build one to meet their criteria at Kentucky Retirement, or you have to go online and enter each individual person in each month with their amounts. The city of Richmond actually opts to do that right now, and it takes them 2 people like 4 days to enter all their people in. That's all they do is just enter in. Our system built an upload portion so that I can, automatically upload it, and it costs me about, I think, $3,000 a year. So it's well worth it, and it pulls out all the information needed for retirement, puts it in their format, and sends it to them. Anytime retirement makes any kind of changes to that format, our software is up on it and does the automatic changes.
Okay.
So when we looked at like Acela, one of the bigger programs, we were looking at approximately $200,000 for us to go to that. We could,
In a year and a half worth of implementation.
yeah, a year and a half worth of implementation. It was gonna cost about $200,000, and it would cost us about $70,000 a year in maintenance. And for what we were gonna gain, it did not seem like a reasonable amount. And a lot of things were not as good as what we already had. The retirement portion was not as good in sending their file. So we feel like that, we've talked with our current software, we feel like their maintenance costs and stuff are reasonable, and he's willing to work with us. They're a local out of Lexington. They have 2 full-time county treasurers, retired county treasurers that work for them. So they, when I call over there, I know exactly who I'm getting to help work on the software, and they've been in these positions, so they know exactly what you're doing. Very pleased with them, and we need to expand now that we're taking credit cards. We need to expand to a basic point of sale system that will help us be able to get everybody on the same page. Planning and zoning using the same software. Right now, they take it in and put it on an Excel file and send it to me. So we would like to consolidate the credit cards with a point of sale system that brings it all to me.
Because they're typing it in and then she's
Yeah.
getting the file and retyping it.
Yeah.
We'll have the ability where they will take that and it dumps right into the financial
Yeah.
system. You get that efficiency out of it, plus we just lose some of the human error with making mistakes, so hopefully that'll work.
And we've also, we've already had a couple of changes to our software, and they didn't charge us anything for it. The uploading of from SpinMap, where we bought SpinMap into our, Fiscal soft system, they did all that implementation and didn't cost us
And he
anything.
took, broke it for, easy clocking.
Yes.
So now all of our easy clocking time management comes out of that and imports right into payroll for them.
Yeah, they're very good to work with, and sometimes it takes them a while to get it, built, but they're very good to work with on, making it just what you want,
Okay.
customizing it.
They're better than they were.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yes.
My only caution was when you modify software, they've got you.
Yeah.
You've got to go back to it.
Yeah.
This,
That's the only caution.
Fiscal Books is all custom built, so that's all they do all day long is build that thing to match what you want. So,
And all they do is cities and counties in Kentucky. That's all they do. So they're very localized, and like I said, there's 6 people that work over there, so you know who you're getting when you call for maintenance or anything. That's
Thanks.
about all else I have.
Any
on this.
questions for Chris? Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right.
Okay, we're down
Juvenile
to,
housing and medical,
let me find it here.
5102-314.
Okay, we actually took 25,000 out of the juvenile housing medical. We're not getting, I don't know if it's a court system change, but they're not sending the juveniles over to Fayette County or to Gateway Juvenile. Those are the 2 places that bill us for juveniles. And in the last year, they are not sending as many there. I don't know if they're incorporating a new program where they're trying not to send the kids over there. So we're not getting charged near as much. We dropped that down to 25,000.
Where are we seeing?
Well, that's where they send
Yeah,
it.
I dig, I don't get them, so I don't,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's
sheriff's
the court
department
system that,
would be the question for that.
Yeah. They're sending them either Gateway or
It'd have to be Gateway.
Fayette, but,
County.
but we don't have near as many going.
yeah.
So I feel like they're doing some kind of diversion program to where they're not sending them.
That's $25,000 savings.
Yes.
Yeah, they probably are doing a diversion or something, trying to keep them out of
Yeah.
jail, best they can, so.
Then you have the planning development staff, and those are in, you can look at the salaries on the back pages. Board of Adjustments, we added 1,500, just off of this year's numbers to raise it to 4,500. Planning Commission, we raised it 2,000 to equal to 14,000. Planning Development, legal notices, we left it 2. The comprehensive plan development, we dropped from 10 down to 3,000. We don't feel like we'll need the extra monies to keep on developing.
Yeah, well, one thing there, we used a lot of our interns to help write the comprehensive plan and things like that, so that helped a bunch there, so.
Isn't that a 5 or 10 year program, say right up here, you have to revises every year?
every 5 years.
Every 5 years, okay.
Yep.
The planning development legal services, that is actually Jubal Miller. His services for attending the planning commission meetings. He also does all the liens and the lien releases that we have on nuisance property. When we have a nuisance, he files all those. That is paid out through payroll through a part-time, but it's charged to that line item. Public works repairs, we left.
And then the one thing on the comprehensive plan, remember that we used to pay that out of the salary form, which we do not anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We
Yeah.
used to pay an employee that amount of money in addition to their compensation to do the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan annually. So we took that out.
The public works repairs, we left at $12.50. The property codes violations, we took 500 out of, just from last year's numbers. Planning gasoline, we left the same. Materials and supplies, we left the same. Signs, reimbursements, training and travel, all left the same in planning. Public works, water, sewer, we added 200 to. Electric, we left the same at 10,000. Subdivision security lights, we left the same at 12,000. Vehicle repairs, we left the same at 5,000. Fire department staff, this is adding on 2 more, is that right? 2 more fire guys this year. It's up to 26. You got 20, you'll have 26 full-time, right?
Well, I'm up to full staff, it should be 25 right now.
Then yourself, right? Or is that including?
No, it includes you.
Okay, let me look at the,
Thought I counted 22 plus the 4 new ones. Well, I count them.
yeah, I think there's 26.
26.
Well, that was, we hired one, we're getting ready to lose one, and we'll be back down to.
25, okay, okay. That's just the numbers I took off of.
Yeah, our, right now we're planning staff for 25, including myself.
Okay.
It's 8 on each shift.
So you'll have one extra for a period until the next one leaves? Okay, because I budgeted for the full 26, so I can bring that back down one to 25, I'll adjust that.
So the other thing I wanted to see on that one was, you've got one that's 17.6 increase that promotion.
What's the name?
Heard Lovett.
That is a recommendation that'll be coming, because of the way we have to do the budget. We have a recommendation of that for lieutenant coming to you all at next court, because we had to print
Okay,
the numbers.
but it's a
We
position
put the
title.
lieutenant spot in there. Right now, it's a recommendation. If not, it would be a new position. Correct.
Okay. So it would be more of a title change for him if
Correct.
that goes through.
That'll be at next-
But we
at
had to go
next
in and
court.
prepare for it in the budget. Okay, then the incentive pay, that is the $4,000 that's paid to each firefighter a year for having all their 400 hours in, and they have to get so many hours per year after that to keep that certification up. That is a pass-through. You'll see on the revenue side, there is also firefighters incentive pay revenue that comes from the KCTCS. So that's just a pass-through, and it raised from 96,000 to 104, but I also back down by 1, because I thought there was 26.
So you'll take it down to 100.
Yes. Equipment annual testing, the chief added in there for 5,000, to make sure that we have all of our equipment tested properly. Department supplies, we left at 7,000. Gas and oil, we raised 1,000 from 19 to 20. Specific equipment, we raised from 22 to 26,000. I think they needed some new bunker gear for the new employees. Uniforms went from 13,000 to 16,000. That increase is going to include some boots that we have to budget for now. Berea Fire Department went from 45,000 down to 38. That was more of a clerical correction. They have actually only been getting 38,000 for the last several years. I think at one time we raised them up to 45 a few years ago, and they never asked for it. They always kept asking for 38, so that's what we kept them in. So we just clerically fixed that in the budget. The volunteer fire departments all remained the same at 16,000, except for Waco paid their loan off that they had, so they went from 12,000 back to the normal 16. The fiscal exams contractual, we took that out because we moved that over to employment testing, under HR. When we had that 25,000, we moved this over to that area because we feel like HR should be over those fiscals. Fire building repairs, we took from 4,000 up to 7,000. I think there's some repairs at the, Station 2 that need to be done.
There is.
And, fire training and travel, we raised up 2,500 to 7,500. Fire department water sewer stayed the same. On number 1, we raised at 750. We lowered at 750 to 750. Fire department number 2, electric, we had to raise up $1,000 to 8,000. Number 1, electric stayed the same. Natural gas on both stayed the same. Vehicle repair and maintenance, we took from 11,000 to 15,000. We actually, the chief gave Shepherd some vehicles that needed repaired. He gave us some estimates of what he thought would probably cover what they needed done. Fire communications equipment, we took from 4,000 down to 2,500. Fire capital projects vehicles, we had 30,000 in there and took it down to 0. Madison County Rescue Squad, we left at 12,000. Berea Rescue Squad, we left at 6,000. The Madison County Rescue Squad water sewer, we had taken that out last year, but ended up having to put it back in, and so it's gonna be at 1,500. The Madison County Rescue Squad electric is at 3,500. The EMA staff, you can see the salary schedule in the back, raised to 75,038. Program advertising stayed the same, ThreatNet stayed the same, EMA hazmat supplies stayed the same.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, I'm
No,
thinking
you're
about stuff as you get past it 2 or 3 lines.
No, I'm sorry.
The rescue squad's electric, $3,500.
Mhm.
Are they still in the building over there, across from
Street,
the
or-
feed store?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
From the Tribe Service, right?
Mhm.
Well, that building's not as big as the fire department too, is that a, well, let's say it's half. No, it's okay. All right, I got you. My bad. Thinking out loud.
One thing I would question here is, we might, so then let's talk about that, 'cause we might try to lower them down 1,000, because if we're gonna be fair, if you add up what we're paying in rent plus the utilities, that's 17,000. We're only giving the volunteer station 16.
Mhm.
So we might need to discuss that about minusing that $1,000 and just telling them that, they'll have to.
I'd like to
Come up
see an
with the
average
difference.
bill, what their actual electric bill is,
Yeah, okay.
somewhere in the middle.
So you would like to lower down their actual,
We'll discuss it. Yeah,
Okay.
I've just made a note on here, but you make a note too, so we can discuss it.
okay. Then the EMA hazmat supplies stayed the same, EMA gasoline stayed the same, EMA vehicle repairs stayed at $1,000. Office supplies, materials, and postage, we lowered down from $150 to $100 for EMA. EMA uniforms, we lowered down from 4,000 down to 2,000. Registration, conferences, and training stayed at 1,000. The CSEP numbers from line 106 down to 586 of the 0135 or 0136, those are all pass-throughs. We have to pay for CSEP, payroll, their basic expenses, supplies, vehicle repairs, training and travel. All those have to be paid up front, and then we ask for reimbursement from them. So those line items I get from Jennifer Hitch at CSEP, on stuff that we're gonna have to pay ahead of time. Now, anything that's a major expense through CSEP, we get what we call advance payment on it, and it comes directly out of the CSEP fund, which we'll get to here in a few minutes. But these are expenses that are everyday expenses that the general fund has to go ahead and fund it, and then we get reimbursed for it. But this is completely a pass-through, and is all reimbursed.
But we have to keep the money up front to be able to pay for that.
Yes, exactly. We have to, the general fund basically has to float the CSEP program.
Yes.
until we get reimbursed.
We're holding it for 'em.
Unless it's a major expense, and then we ask for advance payment on it. The ambulance grant, we lowered down, from 12,000 to 10,000, because that's what's been coming in the last couple of years on it. Forest fire suppression, 1,800 stays the same, and that's a KRS. The dog warden, solid waste director, that is,
Combined salary there.
that's,
Yeah.
well, that is, yes, that is our solid waste director / dog warden, but it has to be into the budget, by KRS, it has to be specified out, so that is Scott Tussey's. Then you have the animal shelter staff.
But just remember, that's overall savings.
Yes,
I mean,
because we combined two
uh,
director
yeah.
positions.
Yes.
The animal shelter staff, you can see their salaries in the back of the sheets. Animal shelter overtime, we took from 4,500 down to 3,000 on looking at last year's numbers. Animal shelter advertising stayed the same. Medical supplies, we lowered by 1,500. Animal shelter donations, we have 2,100 in there, and that's a carryover from, donations that we've had from this past year that we haven't spent out.
What about, we still get that every year from that Burris, don't we? 2,000?
No,
Is it over?
it's over. That one's over, but we have gotten others in. So I keep this line item in there for anybody who wants to donate to the animal shelter, and then whatever we have left at the end of each fiscal year, we roll over to the
I know
next
at
year.
one time we got 10,000 and we'd
Yes.
put 2,000 in, it's from the Burris Foundation.
Yes, we
A
did
lady
it one
come
time. That's
through.
been a few years ago.
A lady come through and stopped and really was impressed, went home and wrote a check for $10,000.
Well, well, one of the things we do get donations from, I think from like Walmart and Meijer and stuff, is like dog foods and things like that.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not really money, but.
Cleaning supplies.
On the animal shelter staff, there's a 7.3 increase for one of them. Is that a promotion? It is, okay. All right, thank you.
Animal shelter food and supplies stayed the same. Then we added a line item called microchips for animals and put 6,500 in there. Animal shelter gasoline, we lowered by 2,500. Animal shelter vehicle repairs stayed the same at 45. Animal shelter office supplies, we lowered by $600. Animal shelter operational supplies, we lowered by $2,000. Animal shelter uniforms, we added 800 to it to make it 1,800. Animal shelter repairs stayed the same at 1,600. Training and travel stayed the same. Water and sewer, we had to add $200 to it to make it 600. Electric stayed the same. Natural gas stayed the same. Mowing stayed the same at $1,500, and that's paid to the road department. Animal shelter equipment repairs stayed the same at 1,000, and the animal shelter spay neuter program stayed the same at 9,000. Solid waste staff actually took a reduction there, and that was because we had Scott Tussey's salary in there last year. We moved it over and combined it with the dog warden, so that took a little bit out of that staff line item. Solid waste overtime stayed the same at 5,000. The litter abatement program, that actually went down, and that is a pass-through. That's a state grant, so it's a pass-through. Last year it was close to 80,000. This year, or next year, we're expecting 61,215. Solid waste contracting services, lowered from 45,000 to 28,000. Hazardous waste, we had to increase by 3,000, and that is a cleanup on hazardous waste, and that is a pass-through. We do get reimbursed for that. Solid waste dumpsters, we actually separated these out. We did have solid waste dumpsters under the contracting services, and we had lowered that down by 17,000, but we added in the dumpsters at 22. So actually that line item went up, but we split it into two different line items, so we could keep them apart. The solid waste fuel, we lowered by 10,000, went from 35 down to 25. Solid waste vehicle repairs, we added 2,500, took it from 12,500 to 15,000. Solid waste office supplies, we lowered by 250. The dead animal removal supplies, we stayed the same at 1,250. Solid waste operational supplies stayed the same. solid waste uniforms stayed the same. Solid waste reimbursement, training and travel stayed the same. We have a solid waste capital project recycling bins, that we had 3,000 in and are keeping 3,000 in. Safety city supply stayed the same at 800. Safety city repairs stayed the same at 1,000. Water and sewer stayed the same. Electric stayed the same for safety city. Soil conservation support salary, 78,438, stayed the same for the next year. Court ordered legal psychological is 50,000. It stayed the same, 50,000. And that
Everybody
is,
know what that is?
Did we use that?
yes,
If the court orders a evaluation on someone.
yes,
We-
or legal representation for what they deem as an indigent.
Yeah, we have those monthly, every meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those come straight as a court order to us to pay those. General welfare, burial assistance, we left
Go
at
ahead.
1,000. I'm sorry.
I was gonna make just a quick point on the recycle program. I just wanna, for you all to know that that program 6 years ago was raised as a pilot program. I don't think there's ever been a review or a decision, but since Scott is out, I'll speak, he asked me to kind of talk on his behalf, is that that's something we need to consider. Right now, we only do it in select neighborhoods, and we do need to make a decision about how we wanna proceed in the future with regards to recycling.
I wanna be there at that meeting.
Do you know how many points with pickup we have right now, Charlie?
I don't have anything for you today. I just wanted to just let you know that at some point,
Yeah.
just like the other pilot program, we would like to, to set, you all probably need to look at the review and decide where you wanna go with that.
Well, I know that's a lot of work on Scott, because he has to, go through the neighborhoods, see who's in, would be interested, who's not, and I know it's gonna, it'll amount to a lot of time
Right.
for
I think
him.
the biggest concern right now is the fact that we don't do it countywide, we do select neighborhoods. That was part of the pilot. I think the decision needs to be made how we're gonna just proceed.
We only do it in Rogers District.
So,
I think, Scott told me that he needed 80 or 90% participation before he could actually operate in a neighborhood.
I believe that's correct.
Go on.
However, I don't know if we assess when we go below 80% in the neighborhood we're in currently.
Well, there's been also discussion about, what it costs us. Obviously, recycling, reimbursement used to be up a lot more.
Yeah, it
Than
used
what
to
it is
pay to
now.
be able to do that, it does not anymore. Now
Right.
we pay them to bring it.
We've wondered, everybody, a lot of people, recycling is good, we know that, but is it good enough for citizens if you charged a fee to recycle, would they pay it, or, then you opened it up, maybe grew your program where it'd be countywide, I don't know, but it's something that we'll work on and present back to the
Well, we
court.
wouldn't do it with one vehicle, I can tell you that.
Mm-mm.
And you know what that was, that one vehicle, what, 60,000?
I'd say every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's, maybe getting to be on its last leg.
Oh, don't say that.
It is,
Yeah,
it is.
yep. Okay,
There are some good mechanics, Scott.
Okay, we were at the general welfare burial assistance, we left it 1,000.
did you talk about charitable program support?
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over it.
Yep.
Charitable program support, we lowered from 50,000 down to 35,000.
So this is our charitable giving program that we have, and we've been putting 50 in it, so we cut it to 35. So, which this year we only spent 37
7 of it.
actually in the program with all the applicants. So, I'm bringing that up because these are tough decisions to make, that we're having to make, so.
Okay, and then, the burial assistance, we left the same. Then we have the Kentucky Regional Airport Phase 2 expansion for 130,000, that's a brand new line item. Then you have the,
So, on that one, Judge, is that the split? Is that a
Mhm.
split, that 130,000?
That's the one we voted on
cities.
several months ago.
Two cities and us.
That's the expansion.
That's both two cities, have they come on board now?
Well, everybody already voted to agree on it. I don't know where the money wise, if they've given their money yet, but it was that 130 apiece.
Well, I knew Richmond had, I didn't know if Red went ahead and passed it or not.
I think they have.
Okay.
and then the line item under that is airport board. This is just the amount that we normally, give to the airport on a regular year.
But we don't have to do that anymore.
Now, this was a yearly, what you're talking about was for like 3 years. I think they gave an extra 25 on top of the 25 to go towards the special projects. I think it was for 3 years. Cause that was going on when I first came in, and I think maybe our first year budget was the last year of the extra 25,000.
Well, Judge, I mean, I may be wrong, but I was under the impression that when we met out there at Dunn County, if we put this 130 up, we didn't have to give that 25 no more. Am I wrong? Did you not, Robbie, you were there, weren't you?
No, I don't believe I was there.
Tom, was you there? Maybe
I
I'm
don't
wrong.
know. We can question it and
Yeah, I
ask.
mean,
Cause I asked Dr. Walker that question. And the answer I got, or I thought I got, was, no, when you put that up, none of the cities will pay that 25 anymore. Now, I may be wrong,
I don't know.
don't hold me to
I
it.
believe we got a
It's my
letter.
understanding that the 25 is their regular operating, and
Right.
the extra 130 was for their growth plan.
Is that special project that they're doing? the
Well, it
expansion?
could
For
be.
their
I-
expansion.
I don't wanna question
I'll
that,
call Dr. Walker.
but,
Ask him.
you know, it's worth looking into.
Yeah.
I'll mark it and we'll.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they'll hate me for bringing that up.
Kentucky River Foothills Transport, 44,000, stays the same. Humane Society, we took from 10,000 down to 5,000.
How much, question, how much of that 44,000 do you think is going to good use? You know, it's been ever since they come before this court, and I've asked it several times. Maybe one time a year they'll come up and say how many. I know they pick up a lot of people, they take a lot of people to, you know, obligations they've got, doctor's appointments, stuff like that, but, I mean, I don't wanna cut anybody out now, don't get me wrong.
I don't know how many actual county
The
residents that I mean, I'm sure that, my understanding is a county, if, let's just say somebody that lives in Red Lick can catch a ride to wherever a pickup is in Brea, and then they can get on and then travel to a doctor's appointment in Richmond, or vice versa. I don't know if there's any actual stops that are out in a rural part of the county. It's basically a commute from Brea to Richmond, Richmond to Brea, back and forth.
Well, what I'm trying, really, I guess what I'm trying to get, what I really want to say is, 9 out of 10 people in this county have no idea that the court's paying for that. None.
And paying a portion.
Yeah, a portion,
Yeah,
I know it's
portion,
just a portion. But there's gotta be a way that we can let those people know that your tax dollars are being spent on this program, and we hope you appreciate it. I mean, I don't want nobody to pat me on the back, but what I'm saying is, I like to have a little credit where credit's due. You can tell people, and they say, oh no, the city runs that, because, you know, it's where the stops are. Nah,
And they make a lot of special runs too, from nursing homes
absolutely.
to appointments.
Well, I think it's a good program. I don't mean it's not a good program, but I think it might be able, we can maybe handle it a little better.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, we all gotta be supportive of our cities,
Absolutely.
all right? But there comes a point that when you look at it from a numbers standpoint, you know, is county government benefiting any kind of revenue or anything from some of these things?
Well, Judge, we all compete from the same pot. You know, we really do. Cities, counties, we all compete from that same pot. So, I'm not saying we're not getting our fair share, but, you know, it's something to look at.
It'd be good if they gave us a report there before too long, just to tell us what they're doing as far as their transports and numbers and,
But they've never been here since you've been here, Ed.
if it was.
Yeah, they came
First year.
first year.
What
I'll say our
percentage
first budget year they came. Because I think they've been within the last year. Because I remember talking to, what's his name, and he came in and did a presentation.
What's the city of Richmond, city of Brea's contribution to this? Anybody know?
I don't know.
All right, after the humane side tourism special events, we took it down to 0. It was a line item that we haven't been using. A long time ago, we used it for the All-A Basketball Classic, and we used it for fireworks. We no longer have done that in the last several years, so we took that line item out. The Kentucky ASAP grant is a pass-through, and I will actually, that number may change a little bit. I have to wait toward the end of the year and see how much they have left over in this year's to carry over to next year. Cemetery grant assistance, we took down to 0. We haven't used that line item in several years. The second Sunday event is still at $1,000. The Richmond Senior Citizen Center is at $10,000. The Berea Senior Citizen Center is at $10,000. The Hope Swings Health and Family Grant, this is an operating grant, and it stays at $100,000 for this next year.
It's a pass-through too.
Yes, it's a pass-through. The county park staff, you can look up the salaries on those. County parks advertising, and actually the county park staff went down a little bit. We did have a replacement, cost a little less on our part-time. The county parks advertising went down $500. The Battlefield Historic Parks repairs stayed the same at $2,500. The Whitehall Parks repairs, we brought down $800. The Union City Park repairs, we took down $2,000, down to $500. The Kirksville Park repairs, we took down $2,000. Will Green Lake Marina repairs, we took down $2,000. The Herndon Ranch House repairs, we actually did not have a line item in last year, so we put $2,500 in there for some repairs that's going to be done on that ranch house that we rent out. Battlefield Park dumpster service stayed at $900. Will Green Park dumpster service, we lowered down $400. County Parks fuel, we added $50 to make it $800. County Parks vehicle repairs, we took down $250 down to $500. County Parks office supplies, we left the same. His Battlefield Historic Park special events, we left the same at $2,000, and that's used on the Battle of Richmond when they have it. The Whitehall Park special events, we took down to 0. Union City and Kirksville also to 0. They were just at $150, and we have not used those. County Parks refunds of deposits, we took down to $500. We have not started renting out any of the parks, and so there's no need for that. We took it down to $500. County Parks training and travel, we took down $1,000 down to $500. Battlefield Visitor Center water sewer stayed the same. Water sewer for all of the Will Green, Whitehall, Union City stayed the same. Will Green Lake Marina water sewer we actually took down from $2,000 down to $500. Battlefield Visitor Center electric stayed the same. Battlefield Park electric stayed the same. Whitehall Park electric went up $250 to $1,000. Union City Park electric stayed the same. Kirksville Park electric went down $250. Will Green Lake Marina electric, we didn't have a line item in before. We put one in for $800. Battlefield Visitor Center natural gas stayed the same. Battlefield Park natural gas stayed the same. County Parks mowing stayed the same at $20,000, and that's paid to the road department for the mowing services. Whitehall Park capital project fence, that was finished last year, and so that went to 0. Whitehall Park RTP grant is a rollover. I'll have to check it and see if we use any more by the end of the fiscal year. But right now it stands at $133,003.
Glenn, can I go back just a
Yes.
second here? On that Battlefield electric, $42.50, that's $354 a month for electric bill out there. That seems a little extreme.
Which one is it?
The Battlefield electric.
The visitor center.
The visitor
electric.
center of the park. The
The visitor center.
Yeah, those electrics on those bathrooms are high because they're really not insulated. You know, these are block buildings.
They run heat pumps year round, basically.
Well, I don't even think Battlefield, Scott, Battlefield's probably don't even have a heat pump, does it?
It was on.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we, when we first came in, we had these really high electric bills like at Union City, if y'all remember, Whitehall. And so we actually winterized, and closed Union Cities and Whitehalls and Kirksville's. But Battlefield, where at the park and at the house,
You got visitors coming year
you
round.
have a lot more visitors coming there, and so we felt like we couldn't. So,
can we do something to upgrade the services there to
So
kinda help on these?
Scott actually met with went on Whitehall, because we've been having some issues at Whitehall, people wanting to keep the bathrooms open. And he actually is putting together some estimates, of what it would cost to actually put like a heat pump in there. The biggest thing is they're block buildings and you can't really insulate block. And so even whether you have heat pumps in there or not, you know, it's running all the time.
Well, they, you know, they got an electric eye on them, the lights don't come on till you open it open. So it's not costing us nothing there, but
No,
I
it's-
say the big house is where the expense is.
Well, this is just for those bathrooms though, isn't it?
No, that's just for,
The visitor center,
yeah,
which is
for
the
the
old
visitor
house.
center.
Which
It's
is
not
a-
just the bathrooms.
The,
It's included, talking about
Yeah.
both of them, bathrooms and the house.
oh, the visitor center, yes, is the house and the bathroom, yeah, cause it has actually, I guess, previous court built a outside bathroom for public use.
Yes.
Yes.
And then there's a bathroom inside, but that's really just for employees, yeah.
But that $354 a month electric just sounds a lot to me.
Yeah, it's for both those buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That building's not insulated either.
I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
That's more than Bill's electric bill, isn't it? Okay.
Okay, then we're down to pro shop staff. We lowered it down to 100,000. And you can see the salary adjustments in the sheet. Golf course advertising handicap fees, we lowered down 4,000. Pro shop custodial supplies, we lowered down 1,000. Pro shop food and resale, we lowered down 8,000. Pro shop merchandise resale, we lowered down 25,000. We don't feel like we're gonna carry as much into the pro shop. Pro shop office supplies, we lowered down 3,500. Pro shop repairs and pest control, we left the same. Golf course maintenance and staff, we left the same. Golf cart lease, stays the same for the next year, and the maintenance equipment lease stays the same at 55,000 for the next year. Golf course dumpster service stays the same. Maintenance barn supplies stays the same at 5,000. Chemicals, fertilizer, seed, and sand, went from 47,000 up to 50,000. Golf course gasoline, went from 25,000 down to 20, we saved 5,000. Golf course equipment, maintenance repairs, we left at 15,000. Golf course irrigation maintenance, we left at 5,000. Golf course uniforms, we lowered from 2,000 down to 1,000. Golf course sales and usage tax remained the same at 12,000. Golf course training and travel, we lowered from 2,000 down to 500. Golf course water and sewer, remained the same at 4,200, and the golf course electric remained at 13,000. The golf course natural gas remained the same at 2,000. Golf course capital projects, we took from 37,000 down to 0.
Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Do you think that our sales and usage tax at 12,000 is gonna remain that when we've cut on the, almost all of the other resale items?
It probably won't, but we just wanted to be sure, because still, carts are still taxed also. So the greens fees aren't taxed, but carts are still taxed, so it depends on how much. And we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be selling that maybe we're not going to restock, but we still got to sell this next year.
Yeah, we've still got a certain stock in there.
Yeah,
We're gonna try to sell down.
We'll have a better idea next year, to put it that way. Next year's, we'll probably adjust it next year. The Valley View Ferry Authority, we left at 20,000. The 2017 series bonds, the principal and interest are new line items, 400,000 for the principal and 165,000 for the interest.
And that is on the family court building?
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
that's
for the bonds that we're getting ready to.
And that's 15-year
Term.
bond.
Okay.
The 2012 series bonds, principal and interest, the principal actually went up 105,000 from 430 to 535. The interest went from 189,880 down to 187,300, down 2,500. Those come straight off the.
And those are the terms of the agreement,
Yeah, those
original
are the
agreement.
terms of the bonds.
Mhm.
The HVAC lease principal, we'll actually have it paid off this year. The principal at 43,152, and the interest, down to 1,350.
And just so everybody knows, that was a 1998 bond series
Yes.
for the HVAC on this building.
The future 911 projects, we left at 200,000. The purchase new property, we took from 125,000 down to 0. The courthouse columns project, we took from 65,000 down to 35,000, $30,000 decrease.
There's a column,
Yeah.
line item.
Yeah.
We have estimate on that one yet?
No, we do not.
The capital projects letter of credit is 100,000, and that is a pass-through. You'll see that on the revenue also. That's in case one of the subdivisions or developments, goes under. We have a letter of credit on those. If we call those, it comes in as a revenue and goes out as an expense. But it's a wash.
That's a which one?
The capital projects letter of credit.
Correct.
We
And,
just-
and tell me again what we're using that for.
Okay, if a, developer, goes under and where there is still utilities and stuff that has to be put in on that subdivision, the county is responsible for going in there and putting those in, but we have a letter of credit on those developers that we have to, made out to us, that we keep on them until it's completed. So if they do not complete their work, then we call that letter of credit and we go in and complete the work. We haven't had to do this in a long time. But we keep 100,000 in revenue and 100,000 going out in expenditure in case we do have to call one of those bonds, and it's just a wash.
Okay, so let me give you an example of this. And you tell me if I'm where I'm at. You've got a developer goes in, he bellies up, a second developer comes in to take over the same neighborhood, ends up having to put in a pump station. Do we have to pay for that pump station, or does the developer have to pay for that pump station?
The developer will be responsible for it until it becomes a government entity, so they turn it over to them.
Yeah.
That's what the letter of credit is for.
Usually it's like if they
is to
take
cover
over
it.
the roads, you know, they have to have the road, normally it's done on the roads. We did have to do utilities on Battlefield Estates, I think, at one time. But normally it's the roads, if they do not, you know, until it's 75%
Complete.
completed, we don't take it in, and the developer has to put the final cap and everything on there. Well, if they don't do that and they go belly up, then we take the money and put that final cap on it, and then we take that road in.
Which is generally nowhere near enough to pay for the
There's where we got in trouble.
blacktop.
Years ago, we asked everybody to put a bond up, but it wasn't sufficient for the road or the road work. But since then, Bert and Marty has worked out a solution where we will get what it takes to replace.
Yeah, I think
Of course,
they've
as
adjusted
everyone
that.
knows, everything goes up. You know, blacktop will be higher and curb and gutters will be higher.
But I think where the county, it looked like to me, they got trouble is they asked for a letter of credit in 2000. Well, that subdivision didn't get completed till 2012 or 75%.
Costs really.
Well, the cost of everything went up, so nobody made every year made their letter of credit increase by the amount for what the cost of blacktop would be.
We had some problems with it.
Yeah. But now that whole dynamic's changed. Now if somebody develops, they have to put the final coat of blacktop down immediately, right up front. And so then, their bond is based off of 50% of the cost of the final coat of blacktop. So, it's changed. That was changed before we came into office.
And we haven't had to call one in several years.
It's been several years since we got one of these.
Yeah, we had several at one time.
Yeah.
Within a few year period, but, then we have capital projects equipment. We did have 60,000 in last year, and we have 40,000 in it this year. Auditing services, we left the same at 40,000. The insurance, property liability, and fleet through CAECO actually went down from 533,502 down to 531,222, a $2,280 decrease. Insurance claims, we left at 40,000, and this is the line item we pay out actual claims that are paid, and we have a revenue line item coming in from the insurance company of the money coming in for insurance claims. Public officials bonds, we left at 2,500. Dues, we left at 17,000. Reserve for transfer, actually increased by $841. The Social Security match decreased by $64,017. And the main decrease on that was last year, CSEP in their portion that we fund had an amount in there of like $2 million. It decreased by $1 million, so therefore the benefits also decreased. So that's the reason you're gonna see this big decrease in Social Security. Retirement match decreased by $171,255. Life insurance increased by $250. Employee health insurance increased by 53,000, which I believe is right at the 11% that we had talked about. Unemployment compensation insurance, it actually decreased by $569, and that goes through CAECO also. Workers' comp insurance increased by $28,883. We have been anywhere in the past running from 185 up to 230,000 for on our workers' comp, and it always depends on the claims that you get. It's kind of like health insurance. So we did have an increase in that.
Well, you can't control that.
No, but we have been up there before, and then we've come back down. So it's not one of those that once you go up on it, it's going to keep on going up and up. It depends on your claims. Medicare match went down $14,972, and like I said, our health insurance account went from 161 to the 1,654,696, which is being self-insured. Anybody have any questions about the general fund more than what we? All right, we'll get into the road fund. Road fund revenues. We'll start with road federal reimbursement. We don't have any, didn't have any budgeted, we don't have any budgeted. Sometimes there will be some come in if we have a storm or something, where we get any kind of FEMA reimbursement, that's what it comes under, is federal reimbursement. Bridge state reimbursement, last year we had 80,000, we decreased it down to 1,000. State grants, we don't have any at this time. We did have one last year that we budget amended in for that piece of equipment for 31,000. The transportation cabinet, we put 10,000 in there. State rural secondary flex funding is at 216,000 this year. It was at 216,198 last year. The truck license distribution is at 202,500, and that's set by the state. Driver's license refund, we kept at 7,500. The county road aid for next year was an increase of 48,827 to 1,455,998. Municipal road aid was an increase of $4,812 to 143,517. State road maintenance was a decrease of the full 749,962 down to 0. The county fleet vehicle repairs, we raised from 60,000 to 90,000 based on this year's numbers, because this was the first full year. County parks mowing, we got at 25,000, kept the same. Road reimbursements went from 10,000 down to 5,000, just based on the numbers. Interest earned stayed at 500, and surplus went from 300 down to 175. And that is, surplus is just what you have in your bank account on June 30th. Last year, we had 300,000 in there, and we did not come in on June 30th, and I don't predict we will come in this year near 300. So we lowered it down to 175. Transfers from other funds, last year we transferred 719, well, we haven't transferred it yet, but that's what we had in the budget, $719,100. Next year, we have budgeted $912,453. That's $193,353 increase. Mainly due to losing all state road maintenance.
Yeah, Scott, before we get too far away on yours, on the fleet repairs with a $30,000 increase, did we have any major repairs? Did we have any big ticket item repairs on the county fleet?
No,
program this year?
and that's a little bit confusing. She's saying fleet repairs.
Yeah.
We increased that because when we started this program, that is taking care of every car in the county. That money was set up as an expense. But it's really a pass-through because that money's coming back, but it's not showing you that it's coming back.
It's 30,000 higher, but we're actually getting money back in.
Yeah, that is actually a revenue line,
Yeah.
so that's,
Right.
we're getting in 30,000 more than
More,
we
yeah.
did last year.
Yeah.
So
But
this
we're
year-
only spending out about 60. We're bringing in 90, but we're only spending out about 60.
And the way you're increasing that is through the mechanics' salaries. See, we've got-
Charging for them to do the work.
Right, we're making whatever their hourly rate is.
So the sheriff's department writes a check, the coroner writes a check.
Yes.
The water boards, or water companies
Water
write
department.
checks, fire department.
Even, yeah, fire department, planning department,
Yeah,
solid
everybody.
waste, everybody, we write a check from the general fund to the road fund for those repairs.
And I don't wanna get people confused because we're only charging a certain labor rate per hour. We're charging everybody cost for parts. We're doing this service at half what you could get it done through in town, but we're still showing a revenue. And the reason that is because we're not taking in the employees' consideration for their salary.
Yeah.
So actually, you're paying for your mechanics.
Yeah,
I guess what I was thinking about it in terms of was before we work on a vehicles or cost analysis to determine what's cost effective to work on it versus replace it.
Yes. I guess that all falls on me.
Okay.
I do self-inspections of every repair that's done before it's done. And we recently made a couple of calls that we went ahead and put the vehicles in surplus pool, we're gonna sell them.
Okay.
We pulled a couple out that we deemed is not worthy of repairs.
Good.
What department were those vehicles in, Scott?
One was solid waste. Scott Bessie had a 2005-06 Ford F-150 crew cab. The frame is rusted out from under it. It is no longer safe. We had one from the sheriff's department that had rusted, the frame had rusted in two from the factory. The car had never been wrecked. But it actually had a hole size of a coffee cup in the front frame over the left rear wheel. I just deemed it unsafe. It was not repairable.
They're using it as a decoy vehicle, I think.
Though they actually already surplus and sold it.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't handle the liability for something like that.
Okay, and if we can move on to the expenditures, you have the first few line items as all salaries, and they're lumped into, what type of, whether they're a light duty mechanic or a heavy equipment operator, or a light equipment operator. And you'll see, some minor increases, but you'll see some major decreases down in heavy equipment operators, light equipment operators, truck drivers. They actually cut 5 people out of their budget, because we're not gonna be needing as many people as we did before.
Positions, not.
Positions, yeah, not people, but positions. These are positions that are not filled right now, and they're not going to fill them. We did leave 1 in the budget, so out of the 5, we still budgeted for 1 extra truck driver just in case we needed them. But at this time, doesn't have any plans of filling that position.
And that involves a year round, because you can't predict what the weather's gonna be. But we pretty well know, losing the state roads, how many we can save.
Yes, because actually, I think we had increased over the last, couple of years, we had to increase to make sure we handled it well. Now that we're not gonna have that, we're able to cut some of those positions back. But then, like they said, they're empty positions, they're not a person, just a
Well,
position.
everybody needs them numbers.
So you'll see some decreases there, and then you get down to the overtime.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, I'm
We'll get
sorry.
off that. You talked about the personnel, so
Mhm.
we've got 2 that's above our range. Are those promotions?
Yes, this one wasn't brought in at the accurate rate, I believe.
Yeah, we'll do a point of clarification on those with regards to, next court, but that is an error from last year that needs to be corrected.
You're referring to the medium duty mechanic and the assistant foreman?
Yeah.
Okay. I see where.
The overtime pay provisions, we actually lowered from 100,000 down to 75, saving 25,000. Seasonal workers, we actually increased, I had to increase it from 50 to 60, because we have 4 people labeled as a seasonal worker now, instead of 3. We also have Jimmy Gully labeled in there as seasonal part-time right now. Bridge repairs, we kept the same at 10,000. The Noblick Bridge number 2, we took that's been finished, so that went to 0. Medical supplies stayed the same at 1,000. dumpster service, we increased it by $300. Asphalt, we decreased by $275,000, but we actually put that in a different line item. As you'll look on down,
Which right under it, we added the flex funding.
oh, I'm sorry, yeah, we added the flex funding for 216, so
But it's
instead
still
of having it all
about
in,
50,000 less.
we actually put that down in
Now, there's another one that's,
75,000, which is under, it's on the second page, it's 028005733010. It's called Road Special Projects. We put in 75,000 there. And that's actually asphalt money.
yeah, why'd we call it road special projects?
I think.
This was the way, and Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but we wanted to, see, before we just had a one asphalt line item, but you really have flex funds as asphalt, you have to use for asphalt, then we have pothole patching, and then we have resurfacing.
Some projects you had in each district. When we put in our special projects, it was like, fixing a culvert and
Does this?
there was a
does that
list of special
include
projects.
The curve out there for straightening out the road?
No, so asphalt, we wanted it broke into 3 line items. We wanted like
Pothole
pothole patching, resurfacing, and then flex funds.
Correct.
So that way that everybody knew what money was going from,
Correct. There
for
was some
what.
confusion last year where it was all budgeted into one lump sum,
Yeah,
and we spent that lump sum. We were able to recoup some of that from the state, but we wanted to prevent that from happening again. So we knew how much we could spend out of our flex fund account, how much we could spend
Yeah.
out of our other account, and then have a pothole patch.
and I think when you all would look at it, you all saw asphalt 700,000, so you just assumed we were gonna spend 700,000 in asphalt, whereas we can't spend 700,000 because you gotta have some money for pothole patching.
Is it broke down on here, pothole patch?
No, that's what we're saying, it's not
Okay.
on here, we gotta
Okay.
fix that, cause it's
Okay.
not, we've only got it broke down
Well, I was looking for
into
that.
2 line items instead of 3.
And that pothole patching too, we've got it listed as pothole patching, but if we have to tear a culvert out, and a 4-foot culvert, and we have to do a strip patch, that would also cover that, for us to come out and pull that strip patch.
So we'll add that line item?
Yeah, we need to add that line
So
item.
how much in that line item?
Well, I mean, it would be, what'd we spend last year, you remember?
I
75?
think it's 75,000.
75,000?
So that's what the,
So is that what the special projects,
Over on the next
Line
page,
was?
is that what?
How much we have in here?
75,000?
Yes.
Yeah, it should,
So it should just be named different?
it should be, and I'd really rather it be right there in with the asphalt.
Okay, I'll move it.
So we'll do asphalt, and then asphalt flex funding, asphalt pothole patching,
Okay,
or asphalt patching.
patching, okay.
That'd be a lot simpler.
Yeah. But I think they all need to be right in a row.
Okay,
So you've got the 405-01, you'll have a 405-02, right?
yes.
All right, good
All right.
catcher.
And concrete, we left at 25,000. Erosion control supplies left at 10,000. Rock, 3,000, stayed the same on number 23. Number 310, we raised up or decreased by 3,500. Number 9 stayed the same at 1,500. Number 57, we increased by 1,000. Rock DGA, we decreased by 10,000. Rip Wrap left the same at 20,000. Diesel fuel number 2, we lowered by 25,000 from 75 to 50. Diesel fuel off-road stayed the same at 25. Bulk oil and grease decreased from 25 down to 15, $10,000 decrease. Salt decreased from 260 down to 200. With,
so, I don't wanna run past that one.
Mhm.
I want somebody to straighten my head out on that one. So we spent $60,000 this year on salt, is that correct? Anybody know the answer to that?
No, we spent more than that.
How much we spend this year?
I can tell you. Then you got it.
Yep, I got it.
I'd say at least 150.
But the difference is, now versus last year, our bins are completely full.
And you're not gonna
We
be
spent
salting these state roads.
74,938.
74,000.
So basically 75,000.
But this fiscal year goes into after next winter, so we need enough in reserve to fill those bins back.
We only went out 3 times this year, and they were all very light snows.
Yeah.
So if you-
And we
if you
won't have
five
to be
hard-
salting state roads
Yeah,
anymore.
we got 140 miles
140
basically.
miles.
Right, but if you have 5 large snows.
Oh,
You're
you
gonna
can
get
easily
into that
do it.
200,000.
You can always transfer out,
Yeah,
but it's a lot
Always have
easier
it
to
left
put it
over.
in there than not.
and we'll have a better idea next year when we go through a year of not having to state roads.
I was just scared, Tom, to lower it any lower, not
Okay.
knowing how much exact salt we used on our state routes and not knowing how much weather we're gonna have. So that is probably padded,
Okay.
but I was scared.
Tom and I looked at that early this morning, we couldn't figure out why we're still buying that much salt. And you hadn't used that much this past winter.
Well, you also gotta think of a couple of those, I think our first year, didn't we spend 300-something thousand on
We did.
salt?
Yeah.
330, I
50,000,
think.
believe, Close to
Yeah.
350.
So,
Okay, fair enough.
Garage supplies, we left the same at 10,000. Gasoline, we dropped from 50 to 45,000. Construction materials, we left at 10. Equipment parts, we dropped from 75 down to 70. Motor vehicle parts for heavy trucks, we increased by 5,000 from 70 to 75. Motor vehicle parts, light, medium truck, we decreased from 40 down to 35. Parts fleet vehicles, we increased by 20,000. This is the one that matches up with the revenue line item for fleet vehicles. So we have spending out 60,000 next year and bringing in 90. And like I said, that will go toward paying for the mechanics. Office supplies, we left the same at 3,000. Safety gear, we left the same at 5,000. Pipes and culverts, we lowered from 50 down to 40,000, a $10,000 decrease. Signs, we went from 12,500 down to 10. Tools, we left at 2,000. Equipment, tires and tubes, we left at 20,000. Truck tires and tubes, we lowered from 30 down to 20,000. Uniforms, we increased from 12 to 14, and that's due to some new regulations that we may be purchasing some boots. Road travel and training stayed at 10,000. The water sewer for the north stayed at 1,750. The south stayed at 750. Electric for the north was 14,000, stayed the same. Road south electric was 4,000, we increased it to 5. Road north natural gas stayed at 8, and the south stayed at 3. Road north repairs at 3,000. Road south repairs at 3,000. Radio communications equipment stayed at 1,500. Road equipment purchase last year was 327,000. We lowered it down to 26,000 this next year.
So we're not buying any equipment.
one truck.
We'll buy one truck this year, Larry, just
So
trying to,
pickups covered.
yes, one pickup.
Okay,
See, we were on that plan to buy 2.
yeah.
So hey, we need 20 trucks, so we're 2 every year for 10 years lifespan.
I had requested $250,000 worth, and due to the budget, the way that it was, then we can make it through until next year before we need anything else.
Okay.
The next one, that road special projects changed to asphalt patching, and I'll move it in the budget, but it stays at 75,000. Reserve for transfer, we left at 20,000. The Social Security county match actually went down 7,940. The retirement went down 20,400. Life insurance went down 200. Health insurance went down 10,560, and this is because of the position removal, those positions. Medicare went down 1,857. So your total fund budget went down 670,739. But your amount that transfers from other funds went up 100, from the general fund to the road fund went up 193,000.
Does anybody have any questions about road fund?
Do you feel comfortable with that, Scott?
I do feel comfortable. I think it's gonna be tight. It'll just be a management situation, but yes, I believe we can handle it.
Okay. Because that's, that's one of the most important things that we do as a court, maintain the road.
Well, there's some of that too that's still unknowns, like the vehicles, the amount, we got 18 big trucks down there, right? We're not running 18 big trucks this year because of the road loss, so there'll be some that we may be able to roll in, roll out.
We have,
We may have fuel savings.
we have about 5 trucks that are getting ready to die. And we actually had some money budgeted to buy some trucks this year. And what we decided to do, we're gonna go ahead and pull those 5 that's gonna die out of the fleet and go ahead and sell those. And then we'll pull the trucks that we were running the state route, snow routes with, and we'll replenish our supply with it and start using them for the construction and dirt trucks. So that's how we're able to not buy equipment and deal with what we've got.
That's good. Well, you couldn't find any anyway, could you?
You can for enough money.
How many snowplows do you foresee running this winter?
We think we can cut 5 trucks off of the routes. With taking the state roads out of consideration, we feel like we can cut 5 drivers off and still give the county roads great coverage. So those 5 trucks are what we're gonna pick out and put on the daily use trucks. And then our daily use trucks now are, they about reached their lifespan.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Can we take a break real quick, please? And then we'll move.
Everybody else can go.
Stretch the ladder, Judge.
I know, we've tried twice.
All right, next is jail fund.
Jail fund.
We tried.
Uh,
Anybody have
obviously
their jail
Doug-
fund pulled?
Doug and Katie are here today for any kind of questions.
Okay,
That we
and
might
starting
have.
with the revenues in the jail fund, the state jail allotment is a one-time payment that we get in July. It was at 201,000, we kept it at 201,000. Court cost collection, just based on the numbers of what, we're getting in from the state, this is collected by the state and sent to us, we lowered it from 20 down to 18. Contracts with SSA, that's, Social Security Administration, they pay us monthly, for turning in anyone who's on Social Security, receiving Social Security benefits, when they're incarcerated. We left at 18,000. State prisoners was at 540,000. We dropped it down 20 to 520,000. DUI fees were at 10,500. We raised them up 2,000 to 12,500. Miscellaneous stayed the same at 500. Law enforcement supplement stayed the same at 8,500. Local corrections assistance, is sent to us by the state, stayed at 69,000. Work release, we lowered down, we really don't have much work release, we lowered it down from 10,000 to 100. Do you remember why we did that? Nobody-
Are you on the, we're gonna change that to outstanding,
That's right, okay,
collections.
okay. So we lowered it down to 100. The jail bond collections, we lowered down 1,000, from 2,000 to 1,000. Then in booking fees, we lowered it down from 75,000 to 39,000. Part of that and part of that work release is going under jail commissary reimbursements, where we're increasing it by 31,500. And that is a lot of what she was sending over to me that was falling under booking fees, was actually for bills that they owed, outstanding bills that they were collecting on. So those really should fall under reimbursements, not under booking fees, because they all weren't just booking fees they were collecting on.
Because now the booking fees are more accurate
Yes.
of actually what booking fees actually
Yes.
are, yeah.
And that's the reason and we also are adding in a line item called medical fees that was also, being put under there, that we're adding in 22,500.
Well, that'll still add up to about 210,000.
Yes, it's just kind of rearranging the, line items to make it more accurate
Yeah.
in what they
And
really are.
Probably easy bookkeeping too then.
And what it also allows us to see is like booking fees. I mean, according to the bookings they had last year, it should be, if 100% was collected, it should be 110,000. And so we're actually only collecting roughly 39,000, so a little less than 40% of what your fees are. It allows us to have a more accurate reflection.
The jail telephone commissions, we took from 120 down to 100,000, and that's just off of the numbers of what's coming in from the telephone commission company.
Has that been renegotiated lately?
Not the commission, our contract doesn't actually expire, we have an out. But the commissions, one of the reasons why they've changed is because we also now have kiosks in all the cells where they can do different things like, instead of writing out their grievances or their sick call slips, they can email them. Well, there's actually a feature where I can email you instead of calling you. And for 3 years, we'll have to pay, we didn't have to pay for the kiosk to be installed or anything, but for 3 years, that company gets most of the revenue that comes in from me paying for that email. We only get a portion of it for now.
Okay.
After those kiosks are paid for, we'll get more of a portion, which should increase our commissions on, we'll have a line for that then, the email commission.
Okay.
What that
Just a
email
question.
does for us too, Larry, is that, I mean, that inmate has, we don't have to take a sheet of paper, to give it to them to fill out, medic or whatever, it's there, and they go by themselves and go on
And
there.
it's timestamped too, so
Okay.
if you,
Yeah, so
Right on
it's
there.
good.
Well, it's a better record.
Oh,
right.
yes.
Okay. Then the jail commissary reimbursements, like I said, it went from 140 up to 171,500 because we moved some of those line items around, to account for bills being collected later on, those monies coming in. County attorney traffic school fees, this is a brand new line item from the state, and it's some kind of fee off of a traffic school that goes to the jails, and we put it in for $2,000. Interest earned, we left at 100. Surplus from prior years, we left at 50,000. And transfers from the general fund went up 266,175. If you go to expenditures, you have the jailer salary, which is set by the state. You have the jail deputies. You have assistant jailer, office manager, jail.
So you've got a 60,000 increase in jail deputies, correct?
Yes, that is adding 4 new deputies.
All right, 4 new deputies.
That is adding 4 new deputies. And the salary increases on the other ones.
All right, so.
Which, if you look at the, salary schedule. Let me see.
The new deputies will go on at $10 an hour, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, the new position, I've got labeled as new position there.
Have Have you already filled those, Doug?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
these are for the new year.
Yeah, new budget.
So the new budget will have actually 4 new positions in there at $10 an hour.
Okay, so, in the, looking at the jail positions and the increase in the pays on here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 positions that are above the, scale that we had. Where's that?
Yeah, they aren't under that same
It's a
scale.
following your all scale, the county.
They did their own.
Okay.
Then you have several.
Well, now, the jail's part of our classification, right?
They are currently,
Yeah.
but starting in the new fiscal year, they would not be, because they'd be doing their own HR.
Okay.
Say that again?
I said that it is, they are currently in the 2016-17 classification code, so Master Bakken, you're right, you've seen that historically. But then when they do their own HR, we've got a memorandum of agreement that'll come before the court at a future court meeting. But they've asked to do their own HR, and I think Reagan and Doug have talked about that.
Well, wouldn't that be additional cost to you?
Well, we're actually, you talking about hiring an HR?
Yeah.
We're not actually hiring an HR person.
Well, who's gonna do the HR?
Well, I mean, Reagan, you wanna explain that? I don't really know how to explain it.
I'm confused.
Well, I can't explain who's gonna be on your all's end doing the admin portion of HR, cause I don't know, but, so we have HR, and we have been trying to do HR for everybody, for Doug. There's rules in government where you have to have employees' files, because if you get an audit done, and you don't have all the proper paperwork in the file, you can get dinged on an audit. Doug's administration does not want us to have employee information that he deems is his in our folders. And so we're gonna be coming to the court before the fiscal year, which is now part of the admin code, that Doug is going to administer all his own HR stuff. The only thing that he will have a form that his staff will send over to our office with the information that we need on his employment or his employees. So when he hires somebody, he'll fill out this job form and send it over for our records so that we can do the payroll function and that kind of thing.
I can't see a benefit of splitting that up.
I mean,
Maybe there is, and I'm not negative about it, but I don't see a benefit.
But I don't have a choice, because I'm not gonna be dinged in an audit for the fiscal court, because we don't have all the things that we need in the employee files.
But we set the salaries and we do everything else for the jail, don't we?
Not from this point on.
From this
No.
point on, I mean,
We set the salaries in
we
the
don't have
budget.
to prove?
We set the budget.
We set the budget,
Okay.
and so
But
for
those
instance,
salaries are in the budget.
Yes.
so for instance, when we go to vote on raises, all right.
Yeah.
So we'll vote on our fiscal court employees, and then Doug's, the jail employees will be on a separate one. So we'll vote on that as well, because it's gotta be approved in the budget. So if we don't vote for it, then they would have to change. He's gonna basically be asking the fiscal court for his staff's raises. So we're gonna vote on whether we approve it or not.
If he's independent, he sets his own rates.
He can, yeah.
Pay increase.
But the
Right
money,
now-
but the money still comes from us.
Right, you all approve it or you won't.
Right.
The jailer doesn't have to bring, where other departments have to bring their employee before fiscal court, Kara says the jailer does not have to bring his. He can hire and fire and set the salary for his employees, but it has to fall, he can't go over the salary.
It has to fall in our budget
In the
guidelines
budget.
Right.
that we've set.
Has the law changed?
Mhm.
What do you mean?
No,
What do you
Ron
think
never,
the law
Ron
is?
never brought his employees before.
Well, I always thought that we were in charge. I mean, approve your budget, which will be the salaries. But I don't know where you're coming from, a separate H&R director. I don't know where that's coming from. I mean,
Well, we gave Doug the choice for us to do all his HR functions, or he could do them, and he chose that he wanted to do them. I can't make him give me the files that I need to make our folders in compliance.
okay.
And
Well,
so,
we talk about incompliant, it's that, and you and I've talked about this, is that when I called, some other facilities, and nobody does it, no other jails do
yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether other people don't do it or not. There's a lot of things people have not done for years that doesn't mean it was
Well, I'm
right.
saying, I don't think we're
Yeah.
all wrong, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I
Yeah.
don't want you to take it that way.
Oh, I'm not, but I don't think that all the jailers are wrong.
But we, if I understand, we got to have some kind of records before we can do the HR work for the jail.
But he's gonna keep all
But,
that in.
but we're not gonna be doing it anymore. Only things that we're gonna be doing is basically the payroll function.
What we're statutorily obligated to do.
Mhm.
We take care of the budget,
Budget
their
and payroll.
budgetary monies and paying out the bills, and we take care of the payroll.
We do it all. But run the jail.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll cross that path when we get there. I mean, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, I don't want to take it that way.
Yeah.
If it's better for you all, then so be it. But I gotta see that first. Okay, you can't handle all that, can you?
Well, we've checked into some things and, I'm not an HR person. I can go to school for that, there's a degree for that and I don't have that degree. I feel like there's some things that I would be able to do and contribute, and whether we'll have to do like a part-time person to come in and help with different things. To be honest with you, I don't know what all it even entails. Like, I know there's disciplinary actions and then there's the insurance that we're going through now. Other than payroll and insurance, in my mind, that's the main things. Then I think one of the things Doug was thinking that he did not want to let go of was the disciplinary forms for his employees. I think that any disciplinary action he wanted to keep in-house.
Well, I understand that.
So, as far as being an HR person for the jail, I mean, I can try and learn, I can do the best I can, I'll start, whatever I need to do, but I'm not a human resources person.
I understand. You've answered my question.
Okay, so I'm still stuck on mine. Can somebody, will you tell me, Doug, how you
Well-
got to the percentages when we're basing everybody else on from 2.5 to 4.25 on the grade scale, which gave cost of living raises from 2.1 to 3.5? Your highest one was, is 10.5, and then there's, like I said, there's 14 of them that don't fall in the range of our scale over there.
What he did was go through on our classification scale. And there were some people who, like on our classification scale, just take deputy one, for instance,
Okay,
that we had, and I can't think of what the number was, but maybe 3 or 4 people who had gone from the 5-year now to the 6-year.
okay,
So that moved them up $1
okay, so
on
there,
that scale.
okay, classifications, that's good.
So that's your 10% right there on that.
Right, exactly. That is that's, as far as I know, that's what most of them are. They're all within the scale, the classification scale.
Okay, that's the main thing. If everybody falls on the classification scale, so.
That's what we used, that's what was used for that.
All right.
And then you would do,
But on the sheets that y'all sent over, they're based off of evaluations.
Correct. And within the scale, he gave raises within the scale based on his evaluations.
well, that was my next question, so there will be evaluations.
The budget that is coming in is gonna be, I think it's, what was it, 19, there was total, it was $19.27 if you added up all the raises that were given, was $19.27 total. And that came from, like I said, moving from 5 to 6 years, or there was one that was still classified as a lieutenant, and he's actually captain now. That was one that had not been changed. So it was going from people who had either got promotions or that had not gotten a raise, and Doug felt like deserved one, and so he moved them to the highest part that he could of that scale.
Okay. It's all classifications, it's all my move.
If they stay in that classification scale, and he's moving to the highest level in that scale, then they wouldn't be able to get there at their max. Is that right, Colleen?
If that's how they choose to do it.
Unless the classification scale changes. They're,
So whatever we determine that the jail budget's gonna be, you all can pay whoever what you want, whatever the figure is, as long as you can work it out with what amount of money we give you.
right.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so if we get back to the expenditures, you have, the jailer salary set by the state, then you have the jail deputies, that's adding 4 new deputies. The rest, of the jail secretaries, you'll see a decrease in, basically because we took out, was 2 full-time secretaries, now they have a full-time and a part-time secretary, so that lowered it by $9,108. But the rest of them, the bond receipt clerks, the maintenance staff, you can look at those under the salary schedule. Jail overtime stayed the same at 65,000. Part-time personnel stayed the same at 90,000.
Can I ask a question about that too? The 4 new deputies, Doug, with an increase of 4 people, would that reduce your overtime at all? If you got 4 new bodies?
Let me say this, and that's what we're gonna talk about, that could possibly decrease the overtime. It could possibly decrease the part-time also.
Do you know how much?
I don't know, because, let me just say that and you never know what's gonna happen in our jail. We had one in UK and one here in Richmond over the weekend for the last 2 or 3 days that we've had to sit on, so to speak. So.
Is that overtime you told her to take that out of, or could it be either?
All right.
Is that normally overtime you take that out of, or could it be either personal or part-time or overtime?
Depends on someone shift.
Yeah, it depends on who's there, but now the girl I had to use for this pregnant female over the weekend, she was a full-time, because we're still in the process of hiring some part-time people. It's difficult, folks, to get people to come over and work. It's hard for $10 an hour, and so we struggle like a lot of people do, about getting people to come to work anymore. So I think that we can actually lower it if the 4 new ones are approved. I actually think we can lower both of them. Kay, do you think we could do?
Some, but on your overtime too, whenever we went to the 12-hour shifts,
yeah.
there's always gonna be overtime on people's checks. So
Yeah.
some of that is always gonna be there,
Mhm.
no matter who's at the hospital.
I would rather
But did they not go
part-time than
to
the
3 days?
overtime.
Did they not go to 3 days?
They work 2 days and then they're off 2 days, and then they work 3 days and they're off 3 days. So it's almost like a fire department check where it differs.
Yeah, but they have like 4 hours overtime or
1 week you
8
go
hours
over and
overtime.
the next
Yes.
week you be
Correct.
on.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, so they might have 76 hours on their check and not a full 80 on a 2-week check, but they have 4 hours
Right.
overtime on that. Because one of those weeks they was over, and one of them they was less.
Less than, yeah.
That 12 hours works just so much better for us over there as far as like that at the hospital stay, and for us having to switch out, it takes away a shift, so to speak, but it does. That second shift, whichever way you want to call it, but it actually works so much better for us over there.
So you're working 12-hour shifts now?
Yes.
So there may be some portion of overtime and part-time comes out.
I don't know about
Yeah,
overtime, but I would.
we
think
haven't had a full
part-time.
year of this, so it's really hard to estimate. We haven't had a full year of the 12-hour shift thing, plus the 4 new deputies coming on. If you were gonna take some from somewhere, I would take it from your part-time a little bit
Yes.
and
That's fine.
leave your overtime alone.
Mhm.
That would be my suggestion. But if you wanted to take your part-time down
Where we at now with it?
90,000.
Could you take it to 60?
I would think so, would you?
I don't know, you've got, right now,
How much did they spend last year?
pretty good, but we haven't had those 4 new deputies
Right.
yet. We're right on track for spending it. Part-time, we've actually already transferred in 10,000 on it. As of last payroll on 5/9, we've spent 90,273. So we're already $273 over, and we got 3 more payrolls.
Better leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need another year to really see.
What's it look like?
The overtime, is at 56,502. So you're
Percentage-wise,
86%, so you're right on track with it.
It's kinda tough, I mean, it's hard to put a number on it
Mhm.
with, just, for our.
Well, you don't know who's gonna be sick, how many you gotta have at the hospital or
Two this
whatever.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
My safest
Hard.
way to go is to leave them like they are, and wait till next year and see how it comes out.
Well, if we don't use it, it'll be a surplus.
That's correct.
It's like Reagan, we talk about putting the monies in for the pay these other counties to hold our prisoners. We're gonna put a certain amount in there and hope it works, but we don't know for sure.
Okay.
Okay? So do y'all wanna leave those two the same?
I think we'd probably be safe to leave them the same, and like I said, if you don't use it, it's surplus from the year before.
I agree.
And we carried over 50, we had there 50, so if we don't use it, it's surplus.
We'll have a better idea of how much 4 deputies is gonna help us next budget year.
If you can find folk.
Exactly.
The jail training incentive is that $4,052, it's set by DLG. The jail consultants, we took from 50,000 down to 0. IT support it still stays at 10,000. Building repair and maintenance, we took from 40,000 up to 60,000.
What are you anticipating there?
Freezer cooler.
Yeah,
Is that what it was, Reagan? Is that what we talked about? Freezers
Yeah.
and the coolers in the kitchen area?
yeah.
Yeah, they're 25 years old.
Dishwasher possibly.
And then we took the equipment repair and maintenance from 40 up to 50. And it was a combination of the freezer and a few things that they knew needed
Now,
fixed.
now, one of the things that we did talk about on that cooler was that we put it in there for safe,
Right.
to be safe.
Yeah,
But we're not just replacing it to be replacing it. We're gonna wait till it just breaks,
Correct.
completely breaks down. Yeah.
And I think since we've switched maintenance groups on that equipment there,
Yeah.
the freezer cooler, we've had quite a bit of better luck with it. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, or if we're just,
Is that Perfection Group? Y'all-
Protection group,
yeah.
right, yeah, they're very professional.
and they don't come out near as much when they fix a problem, it seems to be fixed.
When you have a breakdown, are you able to get it repaired quick enough without losing?
Well, you gotta get it
products?
repaired quick enough, and you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes to.
Transfer maybe in another cooler or something? or-
Yeah, I mean, you may have to call a truck to come in, they have those kind of vehicles too. But again, you got to, when something tears down, just like a freezer or a refrigerator, just stops, quits. So we gotta be fast thinking, and I'm gonna have to call off Charlie's, bring me a truck, so we store their stuff until we get it fixed. 'Cause it has to be done, yeah, so, yeah, that's what we would have to do probably.
okay, the next line item after the repairs is the contractual medical services, and we have it going from 300 up to 330. And I don't think we have an actual contract yet, but
They always have an increase.
yeah, they have an increase, so we budgeted for that. The dumpster service stayed at 4,500. Contracted inmate housing, we took from 230 up to 330.
Using actual on that?
Well,
What we guesstimate.
Like, for instance, right now, we have 31 people out, and 31 just seems be a good number, because they're charging us $31 a day. And then 365 is 350,000. 765, 350, 765, so 330 is pretty safe. But again, there's so many variables there, but I feel like 330 should cover it.
Well, when we did this, we were going over the 230 this year, weren't we? Where are we at right
Yeah,
now?
we're at 209,000, and we've still got another month and a half to go.
Yeah.
I think Clay County's bill last month was 18,000.
Yeah, and we could be behind in some bills because they don't send them real
Yeah.
regularly. So we could be hit with some big ones before the end
Clay
of this
County's
fiscal
pretty
year.
decent at that, like they're, like maybe Casey and Clark, they're, because their bills are a lot smaller. Clay County's they're pretty efficient.
They
with
send
it.
it pretty much.
You're sending the majority of them to Clay County then?
Yes, sir.
Majority going to Clay County. Clay County's pretty good for us. They'll bring us some to court if we need them. They'll load us maybe 10 in their van. Don't charge us any gas or anything. They'll bring them to court for us. So they're very helpful for us.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Custodial supplies, we left the same at 60,000. Contracted food service, we raised to 412,500, basically because our increase in population. And let me tell you where we're at right now. Yeah, we're at 99.38% right now, and we've
What
still
did
got
we-
another bill to go.
What did we base that on last year, the number of inmates? Or do you know?
When we first did it, I think it's
Three something?
Yeah, it was,
Sure, it
I
probably
think it's 300.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's
I think
300,
it's
we've been
300.
averaging.
But once we got to a certain amount, I don't remember where that margin was, but the meals went down if we got over a certain amount of.
So they didn't raise the price on each meal?
No.
No.
It's just the
actually
number
down.
that you have.
Correct,
And the more inmates you have, the less it is per meal.
correct.
But you gotta get over that, I don't remember what it was, that threshold. I don't know if the
That's not
threshold.
something we
was-
wanna work for.
We're gonna be over, like,
Yeah.
we paid May's bill, but we still got June to pay, and we've spent 357,000 of the 360. We're gonna get another bill for, how much are the bills usually a month?
It'll be about 20.
Yeah, 25,000, probably.
Well, we can't feed them for that.
Yeah,
No,
Well, and then you
so
also have
it
to
breaks
think
it down to
about-
like, it was like $1 a meal.
yeah.
And our food service before we went to Kelwell.
It was
remember how
$6.85, I
much we-
remember.
Oh, yeah, it was huge.
We saved quite a bit by going to Kelwell,
Yeah.
so.
You say about three
Is the
hundred thousand
service-
first lift?
Are you satisfied with the service from them?
Oh, sure. Yeah, Joe does an amazing job in a lot of the jails that he's in. A lot of the facilities have KOL, as there's food suppliers and take care of their kitchen, but Joe does just a good job. Now, we have issues with employees like everybody does, you know, so we just take care of business and move on. But yeah, KOL does really good. The quality of food's pretty decent.
Okay.
The next is the fuel line item, we left the same at 15,000. Vehicle repairs, we left the same at 5,000. Office supplies, we left at 500. Staff uniforms, we increased from 2,000 to 3,000.
They're gonna get some Class A's.
Yeah, and again, the reason for that item that is to get some Class A uniforms for court, so that more presentable if we're in a courtroom.
Well, you want to have uniform cost on 4 new employees, right?
They reuse their uniforms too, so.
Okay.
What was your question, Tom?
4 new employees, if that's
4
gonna cost you
employees,
also.
that part
They'll
of the
go in
cost.
the room up here in the front office, see if we can find something to fit them, if somebody's turned in. We go that route every time.
All right.
Routine medical, we dropped from 60,000 down to 5,000. Now, that's a line item that has changed over the years. Used to, routine medical, we had to pay all kinds of stuff. We had to pay their prescriptions years ago, everything. As the state laws have changed, they've allowed us to pay some of that stuff with commissary money, so we haven't had to pay it as much. The last 2 years, and last year especially, if they had like a major surgery or something, they could have a $20,000 bill. The court was having to pay it, and we would pay it out of this line item, but then the state would turn around and reimburse us all but $1,000 of it. But we had to have a line item for it to flow through. Now it's being filed under Medicaid, so we don't have to use that line item anymore to flow that money through.
Well, when you look at $55,000 savings and 52 increase on the food,
Yeah,
it's a washout.
Yes.
thank goodness for the
Yeah.
Medicaid.
Part of the routine maintenance is, or medical, is that being covered in the contractual medical?
No,
That's different.
It's different.
Different.
this would be like the
Hospital bill.
people that are at the hospital now. I'll have to get a form signed, and then I'll have to go sign on to the Kentucky Connect website, and actually I have to apply for Medicaid for them. Then I have to get an approval. And then once I do, all their bills are paid through that.
Do you get pretty well about 100%
I've
approval?
built a couple relationships that have really helped me. I'm also not a medical billing specialist.
She's doing well.
But, I get, yes, most of the time I get them approved unless there's just a extraordinary circumstance.
We haven't spent hardly anything out of that line item this year. I think actually, we've spent nothing out of that line item this year, so she's doing a pretty exceptional job on that.
Does, anybody have insurance we can bill to?
Once they become incarcerated, their insurance, a lot of times, whenever they figure that out, they become void. So there are certain ones that will allow 30-day, they have like a 30-day clause where their insurance will still be in place. But if they are on the Medicaid or something, that goes away, which is okay but see, they have to be an inpatient. All the outpatient stuff cannot go through Medicaid. It has to be something where they've stayed more than 24 hours and not observatory. So there's a lot of different, again, variables, but most of the time, the insurance is not gonna cover it, but like Glenna said, there's certain ways that I can pay through commissary, or if it's a catastrophic event, I can try and get it approved through Medicaid.
Thank you.
But that has been a line item in the past that has cost the court a lot in the past, that these changes have helped.
That's a good thing.
Yes, very good. Jail association dues, we left at $750. The jail staff training, we lowered from 5,000 down to 3,000.
Now, the reason for that there, too, let me ask, is that
Yeah, go ahead.
we do all of our training, try to do everything in-house now, instead of going out and having to pay officers to go out all day and stay in wherever, another county or something. So we do everything, every training in-house, because I have all the, actually two officers over here, Tom and Greg, that actually do Department of Corrections training. So they don't have to call me, they know we're training Department of Corrections, that you're gonna be at this place. We do it all, everything in-house now.
Good.
Are they state approved, so if there's any
Oh,
liability?
yeah, state approved. They went through DOC to get trained.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of having classes at Eastern with them teaching and then charging other jails?
No, we've never thought about it. I mean, again, so I guess we can think about it,
I
but
know
no, we've
it'd
never
be
thought about it. We're busy over here. It'd be tough for me to spare Tom or John or Greg to go up there to Eastern or to train. We need to spare over here, but yeah, we haven't thought about it. But yeah, they've actually been trained through Department of Corrections to do our training over here.
I know wherever training you go, it costs X number of dollars to go, just like the Madison, so, that's, you can look at that.
Very true.
All right, the telephone, we increased by $320 based on last year's numbers. Staff travel expense stayed at $500. Water sewer, we had to raise by $10,000 to $93,000. Electric, we lowered by $12,500 down to $75,000. Natural gas had an increase of $9,000 from $15,000 to $24,000. IT equipment stayed the same at $1,000. Jail public bond stayed the same at $1,000. Reserve for transfer stayed the same at $20,000. Social Security match increased by $5,333. Retirement match increased by $30,331. Life insurance increased by $100. Health insurance increased by $24,500. Medicare match increased by $1,238. It was a total increase of $235,275. And the increase to the general fund was $266,175.
One thing that we don't have in this, because we really don't know what to even estimate, is if we agree to go with a per diem fee, or we agree to raise our booking fees. So none of that is in the revenue line items. And we said once we implemented that, then we would just budget amend in as
Yeah, we
needed
can wait
or
till
whatever.
closer to the end of the year and see how it's going for
See
them.
what we would actually collect, so. So any questions? I've got, one more thing for Doug and Katie before, but do you have any questions about the budget?
I don't.
The only thing I'd ask for y'all to do is to maybe just break down a list of what on your pay increases, what your reasons were, because it's a promotion or 6 years. I mean, we don't need the scores, because some of these wouldn't be, And so we can get a good reflection. Some of these are just like a 7% increase, and I know they wouldn't have changed in the classification scale.
Okay.
And then we'll just vote on that when we vote on our employee increases. We vote on yours too. Is that good? Is that good? Yep. All right. Any other questions?
Thank you for coming in.
Y'all welcome to stay.
Oh, no,
Huh? Huh?
we got insurance too.
Next is the
LG.
LG.
No, I don't have to, I got one thing to meet.
Okay. Well, we're almost done. This, the LG won't
This
take very
go
long.
fast.
Yeah.
CC go
Um,
fast.
We do not get coal impact tax anymore, but we leave that line item in there because for some reason, sometimes it rotates back. You never know what you're gonna get, if you're gonna get mineral service or coal impact tax from the LGA, stepped to us from the state. But for the last couple of years, it's only been mineral severance tax. We have budgeted in there to receive $140,000. And that is an increase of 25,000. The coal impact, we only had 5,000 in last year, and we took it down to 0 because we didn't get any in. But the mineral severance, we have raising it up to 140,000. Interest, we left the same at 500. Surplus from prior year, we had it 375, 240 last year. We should be, we don't plan on spending any of the rest of this fiscal year, so we should have a balance of around 540,000. Should be what's sitting in our bank account on June 30th. And then which gives us a total for the revenues of 680,500, and we just budgeted road materials for the same amount, 680,500. That's all the LGA money can be used for, is road material.
So that's basically what.
So, you know, that doesn't mean we have to use that money, that just means if we wanted to use that money, it's available. The next one is CSEP. If you all wanna go through this, I can't really tell you a lot about it. This is straight.
I'm
from
gonna make
CSEP,
it
but-
quick, state, so the other year, whenever we made the asphalt budget, $1 million,
Yeah.
you know, that's where we got that up. We left it 700,000 in the road fund, but we got that extra 300,000 from this LGA money, if y'all remember.
Mhm.
So I'm just making that comment so everybody understands.
So it went down, but now it's building back up.
Yeah. Yep.
Does anybody have any questions about the CSEP budget?
Oh,
I mean, it's all
just
set by the
Yeah.
FEMA budget. This is exactly what the FEMA budget is,
Yeah.
and it's set by them, just a copy of it.
I noticed it's a dandy this year,
Yes, it is a dandy. It's
$44 million.
There's a lot of projects going on, and a lot of projects that are, well, just alone, the 800 megahertz replacement is 22 million.
Yeah.
Now, these projects will take more than 1 year,
Yeah.
so they carry
It carries
over
over.
from year to year in the budget.
And then the only other fund we got is 911, which I guess,
The board makes the decision on those. They actually did a straight 2% raise on their employees. That's what the board voted on. So the numbers on this is based on a straight 2% raise. Let me just go over real quick, tell you what has changed on it. The revenues, the telephone tax, we left the same. We haven't been seeing the decrease that we were in, the past few years. It's kind of steadied off, so, 820,000. Cell phone receipts, we increased by 60,000. We have seen from the numbers from last year, increase, steady increase. The fiscal court operational support, City of Richmond and Berea, last year was 148,000. This year is only 109,025.
that was based off something we paid off or something, right? Is that what that was?
That is actually, just for the operational support went down. Down below, you'll see where the equipment
Oh, there
loan
it
was
is, okay,
completely
it's
paid
separate.
off.
Yeah, it was separate, okay.
We actually only made like one payment in last year, so we
Yeah.
only had 8,419 budgeted last year, and we paid it off, so it went to 0. EMS operational support, still stayed at 40,000. Surplus from prior year, was 225 last year, it should be around 400 this year. They're doing very well in spending their money. On the expenditure side, dispatchers, they are also listed in there, but you can see that it's a straight
2% right now.
2%.
Yeah.
Overtime, we did a decrease down to 45,000 from 48,384. There is a new line item that we just added and the board has approved for the Madison County Fiscal Court. We have always done the 911's at county. We do their HR, but we have never gotten any reimbursement for that. We are now doing a 1% admin fee, which is $18,560, and the board's agreed to pay that. The IT support is $25,000, it stayed the same. GIS support, $5,000, stayed the same. Computer software maintenance went up by $2,762. Building maintenance and repairs stayed at $1,000. New hire and medical testing, which they pay for their new hire testing and stuff. When they get a drug test done for one of their employees, it actually goes to the 911 budget, is lowered down to $4,000. Custodial supplies increased by $500. Office supplies stayed the same at $4,500. Uniforms stayed at $5,000. Educational supplies stayed at $600. Property liability insurance, they reimburse us. They are on our property liability insurance, but they reimburse the fiscal court, $9,312. Accreditation fees increased by $500. Reimbursements stayed the same at $500. 911 cell phones decreased. I think Chris was able to get them a better deal. Went from $1,500 down to $720. Telenetworking went from $90,000 down to $80,000. Training and travel, they went from $6,500 down to $5,000. Internet stayed the same at $3,132. Water sewer at $500. Electric at $8,500. Natural gas decreased by $1,700. Copier maintenance stayed the same at $3,000. Miscellaneous stayed at $500. Equipment stayed at $5,000. The loan payment has been paid, is paid off now, so that went to $0 for the equipment. Capital projects 911, they had $107,380 in there last year. They have $200,000 in there this year. Reserve for transfer went from $19,800 to $19,925. Social Security had an increase of $658. Retirement match had an increase of $6,925. Life insurance had an increase of $60. Health insurance, actually, they were over insured for health insurance. So I will refigure that one to make sure that we are on the same track. 'Cause I'm not sure if I went. We've had this budget done for quite a long time. I'm gonna go back and check that number and make sure it matches. Unemployment insurance, $5,000. Workers' comp insurance, $5,800 went to $6,580. Medicare match went increased by $154. Total increase of $74,508.
Glenn, I like to compare numbers, and these aren't apples to apples, but I'm just curious on the natural gas on the this one we decreased $1,700. And for the jail, we had an increase of $9,000.
Well, when
it's two
they moved
different
in that new
buildings.
facility.
I know it's two different buildings, but I mean.
But they moved, like they weren't in the same space.
Yeah,
last year.
911, we had to estimate last year because
Yeah.
they moved in that new building. We really didn't know what the cost share was gonna be, so we kinda had to estimate.
So we overestimated.
We
that,
overestimated, and so
got
this is a
down to-
correction on the real numbers.
Cause they were in the basement of the JIC, you know,
Yeah.
before they
Okay.
moved into the new EOC.
So is the $9,000 jail increase gas, is that realistic?
Yeah, that's on real numbers.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is when you increase the population by
I
60
understand,
some people.
that's just.
Well,
Hot water.
being a 25-year-old building,
Yeah.
you know, versus somewhat, I guess, a pretty new building. I mean, even though that some parts of it were existing.
One of the things I'd like to see you just think about in the future as far as our electric bills goes, it's gonna keep on skyrocketing. Just putting the sensors in, like we have back there now, the motion detectors. There's nobody in the office or nobody in that building, we ought to have a motion detector in there to cut the lights on.
Yeah. One of the things, guys, as y'all see, places where in the previous years we've had cushion, we're running out of those cushion spots. And so if we continue on the path that we were on, you know, we're gonna have to make some tough decisions, one way or the other. And I felt like right now is a good opportunity for us to discuss it, for us to be engaged with one another in the open court, to really talk about the things, that are going to affect us. I know several of you all, well, really all of you all, are interested in a 5-year inmate work program plan. Well, you're interested in an inmate work program, and we had it in this budget. But we took it out because I don't have it worked out with the other entities yet, and so I said, if we work it out, we decide to do it, we'll put it back in. But just to give y'all an idea, Scott, with the road department, put together sort of a 5-year work plan for an inmate program. The total setup cost was $68,690. That was for basically the first year. If Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky Department of Transportation, City of Brent, City of Richmond are all interested in being part of this program, each entity would spend $17,172.50 the first year.
And
What's that
that's
for, Judge?
That is
vehicle
for a
and-
sworn
We have
debt.
a vehicle, don't
I don't know if we do or not.
It's not even used in the way
It
you know
is?
about the one to jail.
we? Yeah,
I don't know.
okay, I'm sorry.
So let me break-
Weed eaters,
Was that a van?
I'll break this down just so y'all know what the costs are. So a sworn deputy for inmate workers, $35,000. 15 passenger van used, $20,000. 16-foot trailer with mesh sides, $3,500. Steel weed eaters, there's 5 of those, $1,500. 5 sets of safety gear for inmate workers, $1,500. 12 boxes of Nylite light protective gloves, $180. 5 lunch meals for inmate workers, $1,300. 2 water coolers, $60. 5 weed eater string spools, $150. Maintenance on passenger van and trailers, $500. 25 boxes of heavy duty garbage bags, $1,000. Miscellaneous hand tools for trimming, $1,000. Fuel for passenger vans, $3,000, which is total $68,690. If each 4 government entities would go together, it'd be $17,172,500. The total economic worth of each government entity with 6 workers, 5 days per week, and 1 full-time and 1 full week per month. 5 inmates, that'd be about $2,000 per week. Sworn deputy be $600 per week. So total economic benefit weekly is $2,600. Each government entity would receive 13 weeks of work annually with a total economic benefit of $13,800 in the first year, with only a $17,172.50 cost investment. In the second year, well, actually, years 2, 3, 4, and 5 would actually go down to $10,532.50 is what it would cost each government per year. And so, you know, I've made mention of this. I actually tried to call Matt Simpson this morning. I haven't seen a return phone call back from him to see if he'd talked to any of his people about setting up a meeting to discuss it. So, you know, these are just decisions based off of our finances. And right now, basically with reserves, what we have, I mean, we're about the same as we were last year, but we don't have really any other cushions in our line items, they keep moving away. And I'm proud of our staff. I really am. Our department heads, you know, everybody jumps in, we cut costs. I mean, diesel fuel number 2 alone, just in the road department. Our first budget year was $115,000. Now it's $50,000 this year. So, you know, there's a lot of good things happening, but there's a lot of bad things happening as well that cost us.
how much was that our part?
17,000
a year, first year.
Don't you think the state will help us on that some?
Well, that's all 4 entities.
Oh, okay, you're including that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, I didn't know.
Yeah, see,
But they haven't called you back.
no, so this is our total,
Okay.
and then that would be each person's breakdown for the first year to pay out all these expenditures.
Well, I think
And then you
we
go-
could find somebody, a sworn deputy cheaper than that, but maybe not.
Well, we're
I
kind
mean,
of
that's a
basing,
good figure to start.
we were kind of basing that off of what they paid a sworn deputy before through the jail.
I thought he was only making 22.
22,000?
I believe he was $14, $15 an hour, wasn't
$18 an hour.
Huh?
It was $18 an hour.
he? 18.
Yeah.
What's the temperature of each of the entities right now?
Mayor Conley was very interested. You know, know so much about Mayor Barnes, but I mean, I think once we show them this breakdown, mentioned it to them at the economic development meeting we had,
Well, and then like you
and once
said,
you show them the breakdown, they see the benefit, you know, then I mean,
then it's gonna go down because you gotta purchase that initial equipment.
yeah,
Next
after
year it
that,
goes
after
down.
that, it's, see, it's,
Yeah.
that's what it says on the second
Yeah.
page, it's 10,000, you know, so
Yeah.
you're increasing your return on investment quite a bit over a 5-year plan.
I just thought maybe the truck was still available. I didn't know. They probably got 300 weed eaters down there at the road department, haven't they? Of course, they probably half of them don't work. Now, them guys done a lot of work.
We went through all the weed eaters and pieced them together. We have 12 working weed eaters right now.
Chainsaws, you got any?
We're good on chainsaws.
See? I mean, I appreciate you putting that together.
So I'm working on
If
it.
we do it okay, if we can't,
Yeah.
fine too. I just thought it was a.
But I want y'all to understand our financial situation.
Sure.
And I want y'all to ask questions. And,
We can do
you
that.
know, if y'all have solutions, you know, but, you know, we're facing a problem with how much we're giving towards this drug epidemic. And obviously we're working on very hard on trying to come up with a solution. But, you know, none of the solutions with the drug epidemic is gonna happen overnight. So
No.
we're gonna have to make some serious decisions over the next couple of years, and I'm just trying to prepare everybody for that. So,
Judge, we've gone over their side, line item by line item. You know, we've made some cuts and we've had to make some increases where necessary, but, you know, I think it's a pretty much workable budget. Some people probably gonna be unhappy with some cuts we've made, but, finances are what they are. You've got to work with what you got, and that's kinda what we got to go with, so. I think we can get by with it.
well, our shortage of revenues and our increase in expenditures is, you know, it's tough. So, do y'all have any comments?
Good meeting.
All right, if, I know Kennedy says we don't need on a work session, we don't need
That's on special.
oh, it's on a special.
Yep.
So work session we do.
Yep.
So if everybody's done, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Dinner on you.
Master Combs?
Huh? It's
Yes.
past dinner.
Master Barger?
Tomorrow, come back up
Master
tomorrow.
Tudor?
How about?
Master Buckton?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.